All right, we are back. Sorry, I did not even have. I had to check. So I was saying how. Let me pick this up. I was saying how when I refretted this thing yesterday, the it was buzzing. There was a hum. So I tightened up these, tightened them up on the back, and the hum got better. The hum sort of went down, but it still kicks up like that. Ugh. That's one of them. You hear that? That's that. Whatever that. There's a weird. Oh man. So it's a couple of things, uh, which I don't really understand. They're talking about the truss rod, but I just restrung it, and it's a fucking new guitar, quite frankly. This guitar is not a year old. I guess I'm gonna have to take it to a guy. I was gonna take it to a guy now, but Sunday service, 10 o'clock, right? Um, you hear it? All right. So yeah, all the rattling hum. It's all very U2. So very buzz driven. Are we gonna stand up for this thing? Where's my coffee? Coffee, 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 coffee. All right. Sunday is hoodie days. Remember that. This is a spiritual quest for music people. Music people. We're not spiritually questing for music people. We're spiritually questing for music, comma, people. All right. um. So this has taught me two things. One, I need to get another acoustic guitar in here, and I need another fucking guitar in here, like I need a hole in the head. I need a shave. So I've been working on these bar chords. My problem is I don't have hand strength. This thing is. Oh, maybe I should walk around the house with the guitar like this for like 90 seconds every 20 minutes. It's nice to learn some new shit, right? But it's better when the new shit comes easily. All right, so yep. Where's my E? Here's my E. All right. I was really angry yesterday because of the rattle. Not so much. Let's put this over here. I still have issues with the uh the computer. Let's put this over here. Where's my phone? Here it is. All right. So, what are we doing today? Sunday session, Sunday service. We're going to talk about the week's news. I'm going to tighten this up. Uh, we're going to be the bomb by this time next week. Oh my gosh. I'm making a lot of promises. I'm feeling like your boyfriend. All right. Florida man hospitalized after stranger allegedly attacks him with a machete and bites his face. Here's your man. Yep. How come that is not? Anyway, yeah, he's looking like he might stab you and bite you in the face. Um, this is the world you live in, right? I used to just be like, oh, the bad guys, god damn it. But now I'm like, this society makes bad people, right? The people at the top make these people, and then we, regular people out here in the world, the actual real world, have to deal with these crazies, right? And they didn't run across me in my 20s and 30s, right? Because even then, I was generally not an easy target. So you couldn't steal my purse or, you know, uh, even if you had a gun, I wasn't going to be your first target. And I think there's a ladder to that, right? So if you're gonna rob somebody, you're gonna rob the lady. First, you want to rob the person with money, right? So if you see a lady and she's broke, you're not gonna rob her. But if you see a guy, and he's got diamonds, and you're gonna rob the guy with diamonds. But generally, all things being equal, you'll rob the lady over the guy because you're a robber. You'll rob the shorter guy over the tall muscle guy, right? You'll rob the lone guy over the group, and you'll rob the older person over the young fit person. I mean, this is not. So, war in the Ukraine? Anybody? Everybody? Anybody? Everybody? Somebody? Nobody? Okay. The Olympics in China. One moment you hear all this, China's our enemy, da 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 da. Russia's our enemy, da da da. But then you do all this co stuff together with each other, which I just don't understand. Queen Elizabeth confirmed she'd like Camilla to be queen once Prince Charles becomes king. Here's the thing. All right. She's been queen for 70 years. She's probably got a minute left. Her husband just died, sadly. Well, not sadly. I don't know him, but death is sad. But married for 70 years or so, 65 years or so. Uh, you miss that person. I totally get it. Her grandbaby lives in America with her other great grandbaby, and there's a racial kerfluffle about it that you as queen should have did something about, but you chose not to. So now the woman that your son was running around with while he was married, your whole family has embraced. That whole place is really, I don't understand why we're so close to England. We're so diametrically opposed to so much shit. I think it's just because they're white people, and America side just like South Africa, right? We'll side with. Uh, so yeah, I just don't understand it. And I mean, she could have came out and was like, "Man, I was wrong all these years about the young lady and X, Y, Z." Right? She just step up her lip and just keep it moving. No one trusts that, right? People like, um, and people say never admitted a mistake. In politics, this is why nothing ever fucking works. And people have admitted mistakes. Oh, I'm sorry that worked out that way, right? The common population appreciates it. Uh, yeah, I don't even know. Ooh boy. What is the weather outside?
It's currently cloudy and 34 degrees.
Wow. All right. It was 70 degrees 2 days ago. The murky finances of Black Lives Matter. Where does all the donations go? Yes, I've been criticizing them for a while. Just like I can't read it here because nobody wants their articles read unless you pay them money. Even as they claim to be all about educating the populace and the peoples. All right, let's close this. Let's swing this in a tad. Let's grab our Kazalfi. I need to reshave everything. This is looking homeless. All right, so let's see what we get when we look into the Black Lives Matter. Because I've been saying, look, these people come and they say, oh, because it's one of these things that's in the mind of a lot of black folk, even as it's in the DNA of a lot of black people, even as no one is protesting it, right? And I really do believe that the community, black community, the community is always primed for a leadership, and I think that the state, the American populace, knows it. The electoral populace, people who go in there and chart the numbers, and they're always in a game of keeping us in line while killing our leadership, while talking about how non-racial everybody is. Uh, and people aren't stupid. What is going on out there? All right, so let's look up. Let's look up Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter money. Indiana AG Todd Rakita calls Black Lives Matter a scam. Of course you do, you racist piece of shit. Black Lives Matter halts online fundraising after California, a liberal state, looks into the money. Yeah, you should. Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cooper tied to other groups with spending issues. Yeah, this is what happens. You take poor people out of the ghetto, right? Socially conscious, right? And then you make them exceedingly rich. And the first thing they forget is their so-called obligation to the people that they claim they had. Because now you're buying houses and you're out of that neighborhood. And oh, look at me, I'm like a rap star. Oh, hey, I met Beyonce. I know this person. I'm chilling with that person. I'm on a beach. Hey, what happened to those shootings that you were talking about? Oh, yeah, yeah, no, I'm still against that. You're going to be at the protest. Oh, I can't really make it to the protest. I'm going to the Grammys. So yeah, let's my let's cut this light on. My slightly better. My whole flow is this about this is the same as it is with the NAACP. And I think the NAACP lost its way hardcore in the 80s under the Clintons. I think they were all bought out. Right now you've got housewives putting on black bronzer and infiltrating your group and getting a high rank. She was a chapter head. She wasn't just somebody in the group. She was talking to the press, right? Rachel Dolezal. So yeah, your whole organization, you took your eye off the ball, and you all got rich, and now it's a shit show haven for the people you claim to be uh, the the bulwark against bulwark, the right. Let's go to slide. The hallmark of looking out for black people that you claim to have, you have no longer. And Black Lives Matter just immediately jumped into bed with the Democratic Party immediately, right? And that's not the way that works. Black people's thing isn't tied to any uh, political structure, right? I mean, granted, the Republicans have a shit track record, but I also want to remind you that the Republicans were started to end slavery by Lincoln. So every black person should really be a Republican. And you should be at war with all these people who infiltrated the party and took it over. Instead, you just gave it up and went to the Democrats, which were always a racist party. So, what? What are you telling me? Um, I want to fill in my guitar, but I'm not going to do that. That's unplugged. This is unplugged. I had to bring my amp in here because I could not freaking get this whole thing to for shizzle. It's shiznagel. Let's just say that. All right, so there are four good articles here. First, I want to read the New York Post article because it's trash. It's always trash. Two of them, and then we'll read the New York two Post articles. Oh my God, it's Sunday. Lord, give me strength. Do I even want to read this? First of all, And here's the thing: I get the white people running around going, "All lives matter." Yeah, I see what your point is, but we're not talking about all lives now. We're talking about a small microcosm of things that happen to one group of people, right? And that's what this is. So yeah, Black Lives Matter. All lives matter greatly, yeah. But if you really believe that, you would go, yeah, and I'm gonna help out these black, and not go all lives matter, but fuck these people, right? So what is your argument? You're arguing over the slogan, and this is why you're so intransigent to change because of the slogan. You're a fucking grand opportunist, and you always have been. Indiana Attorney General. Oh, let's slide this over so I'm in the frame. Here we go. I'm in the frame. Do we want to lower it? I guess we can lower it a skosh. All right, let's do this thing. Indiana Attorney General slammed Black Lives Matter this week, and no one ever slams the Klan, you fucking asshats. Black Lives Matter this week as a scam whose house of cards may be falling amid the growing legal attention and its murky $60 million coffers. You only have $60 million? That's like every black person in the country gave you a buck over 10 years. So every year, essentially, every black person was giving you a quarter for this. Look, the energy of the civil rights movement is over. They killed it off. You can't keep talking about twerking and then have people run out. I mean, nobody goes to church. You have all these factions. You have exactly what this society wanted. You have zero unity in the community. We in the black community call it the community. And we call ourselves black folk, right? We did it forever and ever. And now we're what? African Americans. If you can just run around changing people's names, which is how this whole thing fucking started. Kunta, your name is what was it? What did they change his name? Toby. Your name is Toby. No, I'm not African American. I'm black. You're not changing my name every 10 years from colored to Negro to black to African American. Just over you. All right. Black Lives Matter weekend as a scam whose house of cards, quote unquote. Okay, let's do the quotes. Attorney General slammed Black Lives Matter this week as a scam whose house of cards may be falling amid the growing legal attention is into its murky $60 million coffers. Todd Rakita said he was concerned about the activist group, which on Wednesday said it had shut down online fundraising after a legal. You have online fundraising and you only got $60 million after a legal letter from California Department of Justice. The Washington Report said, Democratic state, right? You can't liberal state. It's not like Texas or uh, Arkansas, one of these hard Republican states was like a Black Lives Matter, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, people always muck with the money. No one's ever for anything, but they always claim to be for shit to get at the money. And this society is only fixated on black people and black teenagers, right? There's a lot of people, like white people, losing their homes to scams, losing their life savings to scams, and trying to get attention about it. I don't know why. I think maybe that's not worth it. Uh, and maybe the people scamming are connected to like politics, like the home market scam, the insurance scams, right? These medical scams. Um, the governor of Florida, before he became Florida, the governor. I'm sorry, Rick Scott, I think his name is, who was the governor of Florida, was a hospital czar who made all his money, in my opinion, make sure I don't get sued, throwing debt on you so he could live in a giant mansion. And then he took that money, ran for governor, and completely fucked you over while still owning the whole thing, in my opinion. And then ran. Now he's a senator. The whole place is it's a fuck show. It's an absolute crime spree going on here by guys in suits, and they're all in Washington. It's like all the worst people of your state go to Washington to make sure that the poor don't rise. And when I say poor, I don't mean like people who make $5,000 a year. I mean people who make under like 40 grand a year. It's getting harder and harder, right? It's the well of poor people, right? Is bar right. It used to be, oh, you got to make this and you're under to get out of poverty. Now it's like you got to make this to get a $3,000 rents and no bathrooms in New York City. Somebody explain this to me. Uh, so yeah, I was super critical. Let's get in it. Todd Rokita said he was concerned. It appears that the house of cards may be falling, and this happens eventually with nearly every scam, scheme, or illegal enterprise. Why is that an illegal enterprise? Huh? Meanwhile, you got nothing to say about the NRA, who looks to be using that organization like you're claiming Black Lives Matter is using this organization. The amount of racial hatred going on here should tell like black people in the country that you can't depend on any of this, so don't depend on any of this and do your own thing. That's so ridiculous. He's obviously biased in an environment where cops kill people. Why is he your attorney general? Why would you listen to him? You're just an enemy at this point. Now what happens if when people start seeing your attorney general as the fucking enemy because of statements like this, right? In an environment where they killed someone yesterday. The cops killed someone yesterday. Oh, what was his name? I forgot his name. Amir Locke. Minneapolis again. All right, so Minneapolis. Who are the attorney generals on this thing? Indiana. And who's the other one? I mean, other than Florida. Anyway, uh, yeah. My whole point is that the tricks won't keep working, and once someone knows what the trick is, but not everybody's got the internet. So once the trick is known, everybody knows it. So they it doesn't take years to get around and fall out of use. Falls out of use almost immediately because everybody knows, right? Like if McDonald's was using Martian meat in their burgers, right? And it got out, but word of mouth, people would slowly stop going there, right? It might take 100 years for it to really, right? My family stopped using it, well, but once it's on the internet and people show a picture of it, people will essentially abandon it. But that's not really what happens, right? Because we saw that weird pink goo that they used to make what was it? I forgot what it was, and people still go to McDonald's. So but that I mean, on paper, in general, that's the way it should work. Uh, Both California and Washington recently ordered the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation to stop collecting donations because it was delinquent in crucial tax and charity filings. Hold on, who did you hire to run this organization? I mean, if it gets that big, don't you hire a legitimate place to handle the money? Are you running this from your couch at your kitchen table, $60 million in one of these composition notebooks that I have here, which I have all over the house? Uh, right? I mean, at this point, somebody gives me $100 or $100, $100 million or $60 million or whatever the $1 million case it is. I go down to what I think is a reputable bank and start a business. Oh well, it's been given me to here, and I got it online because I'm protesting the way hawks treat squirrels, and all the hawk haters or squirrel lovers gave me $100 million, and I'm not keeping it in my checking account, right? So then when the government goes around and go, hey, we got these crucial taxes on this thing about that thing you got, I can go, oh really? Okay, let me call you back in 3 minutes. Hey, uh, who am I using? Payne Weber, John Hancock, or whoever. Da, da, da. I caught my guy and the money, and now the government is over here. We'll get back to you. We'll look right into open up your account and look right into it because they're giant global accountants. Oh, we filed that. They must have. What do you got? Here's my number. Oh, the third number on the invoice is wrong. It's actually seven, not six, or whatever. And then you go back to. They go, oh, perfect. We had it. It's all done. Or you were dealing. You forgot this. Done. Paid. Versus you handling it at your kitchen table This is what I mean by. I mean, they just at this point you're using the civil rights movement to get rich, like these rappers who sold drugs to children and then talk about, oh, I had to because the environment was bad and there was no what the environment was bad because you sold drugs in it and then rapped about it, idiot. I mean, come on now. People want you to be stupid and people are being stupid for the what? You raise ridiculous people, and then as they grow up, the children, you don't teach them anything. They're children, they're sweethearts. But by the time they're 12, 13, they become annoying and ridiculous. And by the time they're 20, they're annoying, ridiculous, and grown. Then you got other people have to deal with them. All this violence in the community is not white racists coming and killing people's black children. What kind of child did you raise? I mean, sometimes your enemy is right about what they say about you. And all this black on black crime is an actual thing, right? Or the first group of people that these people seem to hate is their own, right? When I was growing up in the crack 80s, the people who were paying my ass in the neighborhood were the cops and all the drug dealers and asshats who worshiped the drug dealers. Could not get a date with any woman, despite what they say, because they were all looking for the guy on the come up with a giant wad of money. All of them. Some were drug dealers, some were their co workers and bosses. And now the whole thing is about money and stuff. And the civil rights idea of this is an afterthought until the cops kill one of their kids. Then they want you to come out and march. And my first question is, did you go out for the last person? This shooting, 100 people showed up. When I was a kid, thousands of people would show up to these things. No one even shows up anymore. They gutted it as they asked you for your vote. I'm not even going to read the rest of this because he's got an axe to grind than it is the post. We want to read the comments from California. That's likely to be a little more honest, right? Versus, oh well, they're trying to stop the cops from killing people. Well, fuck Black Lives Matter. Versus, what this is. So let's see what it says. Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors, who resigned in wake of a post expose of her spending spree on lavish homes. First of all, they weren't lavish homes. You make it sound like she bought three $30 million houses in the Hollywood Hills, right? They were nice homes, right? Uh, but she bought them in bulk. And to who buys houses by the twos and threes and fours and fives? But rich people. But they weren't. They make it sound like she went out and bought like 100 acres to build a giant compound on. That's not what happened. I mean, she bought a house nice like the one I grew up in, and my parents could afford it in the '50s. So, not the '50s, the '60s. So, right. I mean, you got to watch what people say. He ran out and he bought a new car with that. Oh, and you found out that the new car he bought was like a. I was about to say a Prius. That's expensive. Some. I'm going to say electric car, right? Some small, like little mini electric car, and you sitting out here thinking he just bought a giant $90,000 Mercedes Benz convertible coupe with the da 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 da, right? Because these people are leading you, they're not lying, but they're leading you to believe that this is what's going on. You bought lavish houses. Just show me the house. You're supposed to be the paper. You're supposed to be news. Show me what the house looks like. Because then I'd go, oh, wow, she bought houses? Maybe lavish isn't the word you should have used. It still is damning if you say she went on a spending spree and bought houses. It's still damning, right? Who buys multiple houses and has bridges taken down? Fucking. Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors, who resigned in the wake of a post expose on her spending spree, and of course the post looks into her spending, won't look at anybody else's spending. That right there is the racism of it. It's tied to several other fundraising organizations who finances raises potential red flags, according to the news report. One of the groups reform One of the groups reform LA's jails 2009 to collect more than 1.4 million, of which 205,000 went to a consulting company owned by Collins and her spouse Janaya Khan. Yeah, that sounds like a con. Another 211 was paid to Colors pal Asha Bendale, who co-wrote her memoir. and about 86,000 was paid to an entertainment clothing consulting company called Trap Heels, which was started by Damon Turner, the father of Color's child. Yeah, this sounds like fucking fraud all over the place. But this is what happens when you don't have money your whole life. As soon as you get money, they look at me because they know you're gonna do this. They fucking know it, right? Other people do it too, but they won't. They're not interested in them doing it. They can just use them in Congress or whatever, right? Instead of running. But you, we fucking hate you. We know what you did, even if you didn't do anything. And now, bam, right? It is what it is. Looking at everybody else, but they're not going to do that. She's got issues now because people who hate black people are after her. Like I told you, this work is work and it's dangerous. Is Colin Kaepernick doing anything? You won't see anybody endorsing me with a pin deal or a VPN or anything because I call you bullshit. And I'm not trying to make money out here. It would be nice to make money out here, but if I was doing that, I think I have monetized everything. See, Brooklyn teacher who posted an anti-cop tweet during NYPD funeral let go, so she got fired. Another person got fired. It really is about controlling people and their narrative. You better watch these bosses and these private companies with all these happy commercials on TV. They're the first to kill your inalienable rights here in America. Um, Yeah, I don't even have to read the rest of this. The post-conclusion report on some of the spending last year in an article that revealed the massive contributions made to Color's various groups. She's got a bunch of groups by deep-pocketed donors like Facebook, Twitter, and Netflix. Bowers is also involved in at least three other groups that Color started. Oh, so she just started opening up charities to make. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, look, you can always spot the bullshit people. You can always spot the bullshit people. Um, it's like here's an example. I talked about this. I haven't been to the barber in 30 years. I've shaved I cut and shaved my own head since about 28 30, right? For one major reasons. I don't like going to barbershops. No one is ever talking about anything serious. And when they are, if you pipe in, then you get ridiculed like they're automatically right. A lot of people don't know the the issues, and it's not like the barbershop is a wide age group. They're generally one age group. They want pussy. They want to go to clubs. They want to talk shit about rap music, and then they'll wander into politics and be absolutely completely fucking wrong about it. And when you go, that's not true. If you know history about what, man, fuck you, nigga. You think you know everything, and you're like, what, what? Now we're what? Look, if you want to get on your soapbox, expect me to fucking shoot you down. And if I get on my soapbox, I expect you to shoot me down. But with actual content and criticism, not aggression and don't tell me I'm wrong, motherfucker. Well, you are. What is your I mean, right? Sometimes they're wrong in the world. So I don't go to barbershops for this reason, because it always ends up with me just sitting there quietly listening to bullshit. Then I just go, now I gotta pay $15 for this? And by the way, all the people who hang out in the barbershop generally know each other. Though, why am I hanging out in the barbershop? Of all the places I'm going to hang out, it's not a barbershop. I mean, there aren't any women at the barbershop. That's why I hang out in bars. Play a little pool, shoot a little darts, mac and a honey. But yeah, the barbershop thing. And, it's amazing because people want to make movies about them like, oh, black culture? That's Hollywood telling you what black culture is. The fucking barbershop is not black culture, for God's sakes. Just like the club is not church. Out of here with you. All right. So, a California activist who claimed Black Lives Matter got rich off grassroots organizations like himself is now raising questions about the group's finances after disclosed its 60 million in the coffers. Tory Johnson, who launched Black Lives Matter Huntington Beach following the May 2020 murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, organized a counter protest to White Lives Matter rally in California. Johnson told New York Magazine he and fellow protesters were shot with rubber bullets at the Huntington Beach peer rally and were jailed afterwards. 12 people in all were arrested. You shot people with rubber bullets and only arrested 12 people? It's that's it. We can do whatever we fucking want to you because we're the fucking ruling regime, and we're full of cops and lawyers and judges, and fuck you. And we can rob you blind because we all got people in business. So when this whole thing cracks, everybody's going to be running to the airport to their private jets, right? They're going to do two things. They're going to tell you how America must survive, which means them, and then they will sick the military on you. And then you will see what happens depending on how much blowback the military gets, because cops have been getting blowback for a while now, right? And I only saw cops get blowback. I'm not cops. The military get blowback once, and I was shocked. They sent in the National Guard, and people threw shit at the National Guard, fired rounds at the National Guard, and I was like, "That's a new step in this thing." And I'm pretty sure the people who pay attention to this said the same thing. Wow, they're not just leaving because usually the shop. I'm sure you have respect for the cops. You show up, and then you've been warring with the cops since about the '60s, right? The new next thing is a war with the military when they put the military out there. And so the next time the military came out with tear gas, the military. Here's the thing: the society is made up of everybody. Well, yeah, the society is made up of everybody. Good job. The society is made up of the same people you got the military from, and when they're done in the military, they fall back into society. So don't think that there are people who don't know how to plant an IED on the road for American cops and firemen and military, right? Don't think that nobody will, right? Why wouldn't they? Because they love America so much? Because they don't know how? Because they're too stupid? Because they're not bold enough to? They don't have the balls? I said before, we're born of country born of revolution, man. You better fucking get your head around it, right? We had a civil war, so we're willing to kill each other. The people in power should just fix this shit before it gets stupid, because it's gonna get stupid. It's gonna get stupid. Have you not been paying attention to the last 10 years of murder rooms and rape rooms and all this other vile, violent shit? Because the people at the top could do nothing but shove money in their pockets and ignore, the degradation going on the bottom. And two things happen with degradation on the bottom, right? Some people begin to like the cartels, and they begin to do their own thing, and then they gain power, and then you've got them to deal with, right? Uh, Here, that hasn't happened yet. But there are a lot of small groups doing their own thing. But they I play a game called Bannerlord, right, video game. And when your big army comes of like 80, another smaller army of like 40 or 20, 30 will like see it and leave, right? And you can chase them and they'll run away. But if you've got 50 and they've got 80, they seek you out, right? So you're always getting more men. You always sometimes you have unfair fights, all this kind of weird energy going on in that game. It's great. But sometimes it's you with like 200 troops, and all these small little 50 here, 80 here, 70 here, 90 there will kind of like swing around you, and all of a sudden just coalesce into like an army that matches yours. And you're like, where did these fuckers come from? Because they come in, they all group up, and then they're their own thing. Uh, and then they kill you, and then they disperse back into like the woods. It's a great game. Bannerlord. I highly recommend it. But saying that is that people are, I really do believe this. People are at the cusp of fuck you, judge, you know, senator, congressman. So what I'm looking for next is when Congress people all over the place show up at their town hall meetings and get shit thrown at them. They have to show up with an armed guard, or they just cancel them all because it's dangerous. That's what I'm looking for. That's the next step. That's the next step. Um, Johnson, who fled the April 2021 counter protest in a private car out of concern for his safety, said groups like the NAACP started pulling their support after Khan Kohler's comment. To be a grassroots organization trying to stop a freaking KKK rally in the city, or would you try and why would you try to stop that? Johnson asked. It's not officially recognized by Black Lives Matter. Yeah, people got rich. Makani Themba supposedly replaced Colors after she resigned, but later claimed she never took the position. Here's the thing: the government's going to look into this, and then they're gonna ask whoever's sitting at the head of the joint, what did you do while you were there? So now people go, oh man, ooh, I'm gonna retire. Why don't you take it? And then they take off with the money, hire lawyers, don't want to talk to the press, but you're still in there having to get the yeah. I mean, we in the community have a word for people like this who do the Black Lives Matter mystery. Where did the money go? In April 2021, Ziploc bags filled with rocks and Ku Klux Klan flag were thrown on a lawn and dropped on street corners around Huntington Beach, California. White civil rights, one flag read. Our ancestors settled the land, established the country, made the laws. We're the majority. We shouldn't be. We shouldn't. Why shouldn't we control our destiny? Our words began to circulate on social media, and there will be a White Lives Matter rally in front of Huntington Beach Pier. Yeah, Southern California. I'm not even going to read this whole thing. Ooh, wee, boy, this is an article. Democrats need, excuse me, Democrats need more redistricting wins in 2022. Rudy Giuliani is probably screwed. What does probably mean? Nothing's going to happen to Rudy Giuliani. This whole place is a shit show. You got Pence rebuking Trump after a year of being quiet. Eric Adams and the case of the problematic dudes. What is that? Now Eric Adams is mayor. They're not saying a fucking thing about the PBA. Patrick Lynch has a long history of saying wild and dumb shit, right? Now all of a sudden, this tells you what they want. They want the chaos of it, and while you're talking about the chaos, they're over here stealing shit. But in this chaos, people are dying. All right, Sunday service. It is. Let's see. It's 10:46. It's We have no one in the chat, so maybe we should end this thing. I should read that whole thing, but I can read it by myself over coffee instead of having you guys watch me read it. You guys implying that there are people in the chat. Uh, you guys watch me read it. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Oh boy. All right. So let's put this back. I'm sorry. This is I like to say this is what we do when we don't have a TV show, right? And when I say TV, I mean like broadcast TV show. Like on the internet, you can like kind of like take a pause and kind of catch your breath and drink lukewarm coffee. So remember, I got where's my guitar? I got here it is. I got am I gonna cut on another light? I sort of do need more light in here. All right. I got super crazy because I was like, I cannot believe they think I'm this stupid. They really need to do something, about the politics. I'm voting, I'm giving money, I'm there all the time, I'm diligent, I pay attention. Why is nothing ever working? Why is this person I voted for after he's been there for 2 years fucking me over? You can see this in AOC, right? She wants to stay there. So first you have to say whatever to get there. And then once you're in there, you have to become part of whoever's there's team, or they won't give you assignments or committee hearings or thought, or you become essentially like, they censor you. Yeah, so they make it impossible for you to stay there because it's a golf club. It's a social club, right? It's the ladies' tea room for the women, and for the men, it's all boys club backroom bullshit. In 1920s, it was all white guys. Now it's just the elite. And the elite has some of them there are the elite. They're worth $300 million. But other of them are just trying to get rich. And they're doing whatever. First generation American. Now I'm a congressman. I'm about to get rich. And Obama is a billionaire. I mean, it's just, your community organizer has not come back to the community after you made him president. You can hear it. There's a rattle. Ugh, that's not good. That might be. Ugh. The worst thing is the barcode, cause I have to throw my hands into this weird position with slightly different like finger like elevations to kind of like just and it's amazing. So when you're trying to learn something, you watch people doing it. So you watch people and they're just sitting up there singing a song on stage and they're just you know like just sitting and you know that they must have ran over this song 1,000 times just to make sure that their hands first 1,000 times just get in the right vicinity, and then it's just like to do it right, and then to do it right so it rings clearly. So let's see if I can. When I expect it to sound like this, it doesn't. Right. So if I had told you, watch how beautiful this bar chord sounds. Right. I expected that one to just sound like but that rattle. It's a rattle and a hum, and it's making me crazy. Uh, so I'm gonna go to the guitar store and have them run over it, maybe put new strings on it. I guess I don't even know. I don't even know. I think I'm. I feel like I'm complaining about complaining. Where's my electric? Anyway, uh, so we might play video games later. I've been trying to game on Twitch. Instead, I come here and we talk politics every day for like an hour and a half. Uh, yes, please like and subscribe. Da, 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 da. Here's my fancy placard. Spent all that money on Truist Armor on YouTube and Karma Armor on Twitch. We're gonna do more games. I keep buying games. I bought a game yesterday. Um, but you know, me and Twitch have a sordid history of twitching. And I would rather just talk to you about politics, but I also like to play games. And since I do play games, I might as well stream them. But then life takes over, and you got to work, and and you're hitting on this girl because you think that she'd be a cool prospect to be a girlfriend, and then she ruins it by not having a twin sister. Comedy. Uh, so, uh, so yes, every day. Are we gonna go 6:30 again? Every day 6:30. Uh, Generally every day 6:30. I've begun taking a day off a week, and it's sort of random. Uh, but I'm here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's the commitment for the year. So if I miss any days, it won't be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and I won't miss any more than a day or two a week. Right? So we're saying 8 days a month, but likely I'll miss like one day a week. Because I like coming out here talking to you. So please come by, come through. Sunday sessions start at 10 a.m. They generally go to noon when I have people to talk to. When I don't have people to talk to, they go to an hour and a half. We got another 25 minutes, but we may crash this out at 11. It's 10:58 here on the East Coast of America. I want more coffee. So, so here's the thing. So this see, I had that closed because I don't want my guitar to go out of tune. Uh, so I had Buzz on the guitar, and I could not figure out what the drama was. So what I did was start playing my electric guitar, which I kind of keep up and running and cool. Change the strings on it yesterday. I changed the strings on all this to how this whole debacle happened. And then I could not figure out the fret buzz issue. So then I just started playing the electric. And here's the thing: I haven't played the electric in like 5 months, 4 5 months. Pick it up, do for like 5 minutes. Now put it down. Um, I noodle on the acoustic all day, like hours on hours on hours. And between me, you, and the wallpaper, I'm I'm angry that I'm not a fucking better guitar player because I'm on it all the time. all right. It, the talent will come. It better come. Uh, but I'm on it all the time. So with the buzz, I was like, I can't even do this thing. So I got on this thing, couldn't get this whole thing percolating. So I brought my app in here. This is close that. Brought my app in here. Where is? For God's sakes, the amount of wires in a modern era. Let's put this here. In a modern era, I need a new electric guitar too. I mean, here's the thing. First world problem. I don't need a new guitar. I mean, I can barely play the freaking three I got. Right? I have one over there. That one sitting back there. That's 60 years old. I got to get that fixed. And that's going to be sort of like a prime thing I'm going to be using. But just all the wires, man. Good Lord. So I have to somehow come out with a clip for this. Where's the clip? Full of clips in this piece. All right. You know what? We'll just do this. I'm supposed to be exiting stage right. All right, so the bottom thing gets caught under a fret. Where's the tuner? The bottom string gets caught under the fret. And I have it over here, but I like to open the window, and then all of a sudden the window. I should tighten these too on here. All right. So I noticed a couple of things with the guitar. All right, so I noticed a couple of things. All right. So I noticed a couple of things. My fingers are stronger on this thing. So yeah. I also have this problem of not being able to keep a guitar stable. So what are we doing today? I guess we're playing electric because that freaking thing rattles. All right. What was I doing here? I was doing. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing all day. All right, let's cut all this off. Put this here. Unplug this so I don't fall on my head. And figure out why that doesn't work like it should. All right. So, thank you for coming through. We're here well, I just said we're here every day, but mostly, generally, we're here every day. But for the first, like, 8 months, I didn't take a day off. Now I'm taking a day off once a week. Unofficial day off once a week. But we're here every day talking daily politics, playing some form of what would be music in a couple of 100 years if I keep plugging away at it. Uh, I guess I'll see you later in the day. Uh, well, not see you later in the day. See you later in the week. I hope. Please like and subscribe. Say hello in the chat. Today's been a quiet one. Normally we have someone in the chat. At least someone in the chat. But that's fine. That's cool. That's good. We, Willie. Oh, it's Jay's birthday. I got to make some birthday calls. Let's close this. I want to thank everybody for coming through. As always, uh, it's Sunday, man. It's the start of a new week, right? It, it, you can change your narrative any day, at any moment, any hour, any minute of the day. But it's good to do it on like the start of things. Like you get 52 tries every year, right? With Sunday, you get 12 starts every year with the first of the month, right? I like to start things on the first of the month. You get one big one every year with the New Year, New Year's resolutions, then whatever. But quite frankly, you can just decide today, randomly, at one to give up smoking or give up drinking or give up that or take up this or take up that or take up this or take up that. I didn't expect to give up drinking, but I was just kind of like, maybe I'll, because I had whiskey here, and I was like, well, because I like to finish stuff. I could never have a menagerie of liquor in the house because it'd be finished. Because I was a sipper. Now I'm just kind of like, I don't want this in the house. So then that sat there for a couple of weeks. Uh, and slowly kind of like drank it. And then when it was over, I was just kind of like, I think I might take a day or two, a week off from drinking. I'd say it on the stream when my last drink was on stream. And I was like, yeah. And then a week went by and 2 weeks went by. And before you know it, what are we? We're in February? What's today's date? I should have, do I even remember when I stopped? I think it was December like 10th. Somewhere up around December 10th, I quit drinking. Sort of by accident. I didn't say, oh, I got a drinking problem or I'm going to stop and change my life. And I was just kind of like, yeah. It was not like me quitting smoking. Me quitting smoking was I wanted to quit and it was a fight. This just sort of fell away in January. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been about 2 months now. Which is weird because if you know me, I'm always hanging out, drinking, cool, and chilling. Uh, 40 ounces when I was a teenager, right? Beer, but now I've got beer in the fridge. I'm just kind of like, what am I gonna do with this beer? Because my nephew comes, like, he doesn't drink. I don't really want it anymore. But that's the way the world works, right? Your whole worldview will shift on you. You can help it shift if you want to. I mean, you know that thing you want. What is that thing you want? And please don't tell me money. Like, otherwise, I just heard you go down to the money store and pick up a sock of money, right? Tell me something interesting. Tell me. I mean, what is? I've always wanted to be a decent cook. Now I'm a fucking fairly decent cook, right? Because I cooked. I did it. Uh, always wanted to be a musician. Watch people do it up now. I've finally tried to try that, good, bad, or ugly, but I wanted to try it, and now here I am with a sincere and honest try, right? I was somehow addicted to politics, and I sort of curbed that by picking up something new. So I would suggest if you have a diet issue, maybe you should pick up something else and that you like doing, and before you know it, um, you don't need to diet because you're doing other shit, right? What is the thing you like to do? So but my point is that I need to lose 10 pounds or whatever. First of all, why lose 10 pounds? Look, this whole lose weight, diet back is bullshit. But if you take up something life change, oh, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna get a dog, and I'm gonna walk every day. This dog for half an hour a day. That's what I did, right? That'll keep the weight off, and then you look up, and people are like, "Oh my God, you slim down." Because you do it every day, rain or shine, right? You'll do it in the heat when it's super hot, and you'll walk off the weight, walk for half an hour every day. And then before you know it, you know, the that time that you spent doing whatever was detrimental is now spent with a dog, or and that's what it do. You you don't ban it and not fill that time, or you don't keep doing it and then do something else to make your life more hurry, because then you'll still do the thing that you're trying to get away from, right? But you go, all right, well, if I do need to lose weight, maybe I should be more active. I'll get a dog. You make whatever you get fun and exciting, and you stick to it. Don't get a dog and then not do anything. Now you and the dog are on the couch. The dog is just miserable because you're not taking him outside, and you're miserable because now you're on the couch eating more whatever. And it's not always eating in weight. It's one of the things people complain about now, but it's not always eating in weight, right? It's smoking. You want to give up smoking? What can you do to eat up that time from smoking? Running, jogging, fitness, right? Cooking. Every time you get want a cigarette, I'm on a push up regimen. I used to do those, right? Now I'm concentrating on I should get in the push up regimen because man, I'm just squishy. But you fill it with other things to do. You don't just not do it and then think about it all the time as you not do it, because you'll just do it. So that's it. You got a ton of time to shift and change, and your life is your own. I'm looking this way when the camera's right there. Your life is your own, and it's not always somebody stopping you from doing something. Sometimes it's you stopping you from doing something. So please like and subscribe in the comments. Like and subscribe in the comments. Like and subscribe in the comments. Like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. That makes more sense. And I will see you tomorrow, likely at 6:30. All right. I may pop in later today. Apple North Blue. It's not just celebrities who want unique baby names. Joe Pensker on how having a distinctive name becomes a. Well, first of all, look, the flower children named their kids unique names, right? Black folk have always named their kids unique names. Otherwise, the only unique names you see are foreign names, and you don't know what that means. Oh, what does that mean in Swahili or Norwegian, right? Uh, once met a girl named Blue Sky, right? Uh, Parents have a right to name you whatever they want. It's a little more interesting than fucking Mary. There's a trillion Marys and they're all born. There's a trillion Johns, they're all born. There's a trillion Tyrones and Rakims, all the common that was once rare are now super popular. And other names are dying out, like Earl, like and Ernest, right? So Earl is dying out, but Earl, you name that because Earl is a title, Duke, Earl, King, right? But nobody wants to be named Earl anymore. And what was the other one I just said? Earl and what's the name I just said? Uh, uh, anyway, names are dying out. They're falling out of fashion. But yeah, there was a name I remember. What was the second one? Earl and it'll come to me likely when I'm off air. But people aren't naming their kids that anymore. I forgot what's it. Gary. Gary is the name. No one's naming their kid Gary anymore. Um, yeah. So Earl was named after a king. Not king, after royalty, and no one's naming their kid some of the more common European names: Earl, Barry. I'm sure at one point Barry was a unique name. I wonder what it means, right? And then you tie that with these normal names, normal quote unquote, these routine names from Europe of being named after your job, right? Baker, Fletcher, uh, Gardner. Is there anybody Gardner? There's a couple of Gardners out there, right? Butcher. Is the name Butcher? No, I think it's Baker. It's Smith. There's a bunch of Smith, Ten Smith, Blacksmith, right? People named after colors, black, white, right? Green with an E on it. So yeah, it is what it is. People name themselves after things they see in the environment and think are beautiful. I'm surprised more people aren't named Cloud. Remember, Jelaine Maxwell, her name translates to French, right? It's Jelaine, and French means hostage, which is a thing to name a girl. Um, I knew a girl named Honor. I love that name. I think it's a beautiful name for a young lady. But she had some points about being named that and being a girl, Uh, that mean things boys say about it, especially after the whole. Um. So yeah, these names are fraught with peril. You got to watch it. All right, your homie, your man, True S Armor. It's sort of a wordplay for truest. I am your truest, Truest. But True S is my name. S stands for Sean. It stands for savings. Stands for salacious. It stands for spiritual. Uh, and it stands for sexy as I fucking want to be. So True S Armor, come get some. Please like and subscribe to all my channels. And if you watch this and you didn't like it, I feel bad. I wish you'd come back, maybe give me another second shot. But I am generally this. And if you liked it, you definitely need to come back. Because, like I said, I'm generally this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, bushes and trees, stars and planets, fire and water. I will see you in the next one. And the next one is tomorrow. Hey, Lady B, good to see you in the chat. I hope you're having a really good Sunday. Sunday. Uh, I hope you got some stuff planned because it should get good. It's not even noon. From what I hear about Sundays, they really get to percolating around about 11 when everyone has had Sunday brunch. Sunday brunch is like from 10 to 2. And then you go out with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your family, and you take the world by storm on this Sunday, let it be. So, yeah, um, good to see you in the chat. Should we make it a full show and do the remaining 6 minutes? Uh, it's not like it's a heavy. Oh my God, this battery's dying. It's not like it's a heavy push because it's not like I'm gonna run out of. Oh boy, gonna run out of topics because there's always some nonsense going. Ugh, there's always some nonsense going on in the world. What is going on with this thing? All right, here you go. Wee. I'm out of coffee. I got one shaky guitar. I got one electric that I'm amplifies my horribleness to the neighbors. Maybe I should just put a headphone jack in. I need to go get my headphones. Uh, I should actually use these headphones for this system. And all right, so I love these headphones. I haven't gotten rid of them. I had them forever. They're real. Even to this, they're a little scuzzy. You can actually go on Amazon, find out the maker of these headphones, and then buy another cushion. Uh, I like these because these are smaller than these. These are really good studio headphones, excellent for gaming. I should probably swap these out. These I used for gaming forever, and they're still really good. But could I use these again for half? They were so good and they were so small they were almost unnoticeable. Maybe I use this for the keyboard because I need keyboard headphones. Meanwhile, everyone else is using like wireless, and I'm such an old guy. Wires. I like wires. I was just complaining about wires 5 minutes ago. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am gonna go and get on my Sunday monk game, shave my head, do some light cooking, and then come in here and video game. Yeah, this is the thing, right? They're nice headphones. Why throw them away? I mean, yeah, they're old, and I should. Yeah, you're right. Get some Q-tips, some a little ammonia, wash them down. They've got dust on them, so give them a good wipe. Uh, and get the cracking with this music thing. But at this point, I've got doubles of everything. I mean, this is my PC setup, and that's my music setup, but it's all Mac. Why? I could have had both of those in the same computer system. You know, you get to be an interesting and delicate flower if you want to. And this is the weird quirk about me, right? I know I could have one. I don't know why, but some people might like. Thank you, Milton. I appreciate you. Some people might like my car. I only drive Jeeps, right? And I probably could go to another, but it would still be an American made car. I have discussions about this. People go, Americans don't make. I'm like, that's what they said in the '60s. All the cars made in America now are made by all the people, because America bought all these giant conglomerates, right? Bought Fiat and Audi, all the people that you claim to make really good cars, right? And this is why nobody really complains about cars anymore in America, because they're all generally made by outsiders, foreign labor, foreign parts, that whole thing. So the idea that this car is not good anymore isn't really a thing. Um, Having said that, American made cars, I think the era of them are over. Like the big uh, block engines and sixties and driving around the country and seeing the place. Nobody does that anymore. People sit at home and uh, watch Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, right? Disney Plus, whatever. And then they drive in their car to whatever, and they have their phone. They catch whatever up on their phone or their screen of whatever kind, and then they get to work. They sit in the chair and they do that thing. So people are really comfortable, really used to sitting about all the time, whether it's at work, right? These cubicle people, or at school, right? And the people who aren't used to, who have to work in the field, can't wait to get out of the sun, out of the ditch, and go someplace and sit down, right? Versus, I can't wait to be off of work and go do something that I was gonna go do, which used to be what it is. Now it's like, man, I can't wait to just sit. I got a Ford. Then I heard Henry was a flaming racist. Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing, Lady B. He was a man of his day, right? Like I tell people this all the time about the founders. I get that they were racist. But it's the modern era. You can be, right? You can be a man of your day. So men of my day were the flower power people, and they told me racism is fucked up and wrong, right? The whites, the black, the Latinos told me this as a little boy in New York. Don't say mean things about girls. Girls are just as valuable as boys, and like, oh really? Yeah, yeah. And bloods don't hit girls. So they tell you all this stuff about. Meanwhile, in China, they tell you girls are useless, right? So the men of the day fought against that. Women should be home. They shouldn't do this. They shouldn't do that. Da da da. So I grew up with a whole different idea of what women was. And now, as a man, I view men of my day. I wasn't the only one. A lot of us are like, we'll tell you, we're not going to put you on a pedestal. You fought hard to be woman fight in the workplace, and we'll call you full of shit. Those are the downsides of progress, right? Whereas men of our day will be like, oh, you don't talk mean to a lady, and you hold the door, and but you also don't give them a job, and you touch the ass at work, and you do all this other weird shit. You are an anathema to this time. You need to go. And there's a lot of those people. You need to get out of here. Nobody wants you handsy. Nobody wants your racist jokes. Nobody wants so we still have a lot of these people who should have gone, but they raised people my age to be like them. So you're still gonna have this, right? There's a slow peating there's a slow like petering out of their energy. But it isn't like a stock market cliff that just drops off and sexism, racism, all the other isms are gone. It's just slow glide, hopefully into the trees. But every now and then they get a win, and this is what racism has been. Racism has looked like it was gonna go down a bit, and then it comes back up. But racism isn't so low to hit the trees. Don't get it wrong. Racism is in the clouds. Every now and it dips down, but it comes back. It's not so low as but you know why? Because racism is about cash and money, right? You can make a lot of money being racist. All of rap music is worth trillions of dollars. Black people don't own it, but black people make all of it. Don't own any football teams, but are 90% of the NFL, and they have a racial issue, right? So, I mean, men of your day, you should be the NFL should not be racist and using all these black people, right? So Henry Ford of his era, sadly, was not enlightened. How enlightened could he be? Sadly, the founders not enlightened. How enlightened could they be? Uh, and then there's just the fact that how much will you risk for somebody else? I'm making a lot of money off this. It's not my kids who are being harassed at work, shot by the cops. I have an opinion on that. I think that's wrong. He said from his giant yacht in the Mediterranean, right? And I am against it. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah, my lobster, right? The people on the ground have to deal with this, right? The women in the workplace going, "Don't fucking touch me. I've had it with this place. I've had it with you. You suck." And then she storms out, and the other women go, "Wow, she was brave to do that." And then they have to check themselves and go, "You know what? I'm not going to be a woman of my day. I'm going to be a woman of tomorrow. Don't touch me. I'm with Sarah, Sue, Helen, whoever the case may be." And then those kids grow up to be women of their day, which is, I think, what a lot of people are now. Because some of those women in the 50s and 60s fired, like, saw all kind of ridiculous stuff. Some tolerated, some left and was like, "I'm done being a lawyer, Wall Street. I'll just go be a teacher. I'll just go be a whatever," right? And a lot of people did it in other arenas where they were chased out because they were sick of going up against this wall of old ways. So yeah, Ford. I mean, and it's also the interesting question of can you separate the person from their art, right? So if you can and drive a Ford, um, can you listen to R. Kelly, right? Can you listen to whoever else had an issue? I mean, people apparently can because I mean, Elvis married a 14-year-old, and people still play Elvis music. So I mean, can you be a person of your day and then have the people after your day come by and look at your work and go, "I don't like some of this shit, but a lot of this shit is all right." I think you can. I really can. But I also think that gets harder the worse the thing you did is up against the greatness of the thing you made, right? So I don't put that in music, but if you make a country or a great invention and you're sort of then I'll go, "I don't want to hang out with you. Yeah, you should retire, go away." But that thing you made the guitar, a piano, or a shit, yeah, we could still keep using that. Versus the guy who just harassed everybody, disrespected all the women, and then what he made was a song. What? So what? We got other people making songs. I can slide away from whatever you're doing. I haven't listened to R. Kelly in forever, right? And now all of a sudden people are like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "You knew this 20 years ago, right?" It's like, well, I don't like Jay Z, and I think the same thing is going to happen to him. His all his music is I hate black people essentially, and in a society that pushes racial animus, you should watch the people that society makes famous for you, right? So if we're all suffering, but someone's making "I hate black people" song, sell drugs to black people, right? That kind of goes against what you're trying to do. If you're a modern woman making modern woman songs, and somebody's up there talking about sitting on bosses' laps and sliding to other women's relationships, that's essentially what the argument here is. Like what you stand for is not what we stand for, and the people who stand against us stand with you. So now here we are. Uh, yeah, yeah, they all were flaming racist though. I mean, who wasn't? Uh, Charlie wasn't Charlie Chaplin, or was he Jewish? I thought Charlie Chaplin was. Like they're all just. I mean, and that's the thing. People keep acting like once you get famous, like you grew up in this nunnery. You're like example. Remember the rapper the baby? He said that stuff about gay people, and people were all angry. And I said on this pod, I was like, first of all, he's not making music for you. It's an honor that you listen to him. But who the fuck are you to show up in his community and go, "We not of your community demand that you change this, that, the other thing"? One, that's ridiculous. Two, what environment is he from? Right? He's not from this touchy feely. Let's talk about the issues of the world and right. He's not from that environment. So why would you think that he would be this lovey touchy straight from the hood, talking about guns and murder and all this, but then he's all open and touchy feely to your concerns, right? It's the same thing with Dave Chappelle, right? Dave Chappelle might not be for you, so he did this comedy special, and there were trans people. I was gonna say transvestite. Is that still a word? Can you say transvestite? I feel like that's a bad. Why am I whispering? I feel like that's a bad word. Trans people. I don't know. Trans. I don't know what to call them. But he went in his bit about trans people, and they were in the audience not laughing. Right. I feel bad, but if I went to a concert, um, a hillbilly concert, and they were sitting there listening to bluegrass water or whatever. And the guy got up there. He went into a rant about why rap music wasn't music. Nobody plays instrument and da 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 da. And the black culture needs to get its shit together and blah 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 blah. I can sit up there because I'm closer to rap music and the black culture than everybody around me. So when they flash on me, I'm not gonna be like, ew. I might be like this. Uh-huh. You know. So it's a lot of that. I think just trans. Okay, is it really just trans? Trans. I guess I guess it is just trans. I guess you're right. Transsexual, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure either. That's the thing. Because I know it was transsexual before, but I don't know if that's a slur now. But trans is not. Trans sounds like it would be the slur. Shut up, you trans. What you call me? Right, but I guess it's not. Look, I can make the argument that maybe you're not a real thing if you in America doesn't have a word about a hateful word about you and your group that we all know, right? So if you're going, I'm a victim, and I go, what does everybody who hates you call you? And you just go, trans. Like they hate women, or really, what do they call you? They call us women. You go, what? Right? That guy over there has got a whole bunch of B words and C words for women. He obviously been talking to people and they hate women. And that guy over there, he's black. He can tell you what people call them, right? And the Asian people, there's a couple of them, right? But what do they call you? Trans. All right. Okay. Welcome to the party of uh welcome to the party. Welcome to the degradation and disrespect that is living in America and treating your fellow Americans such a way. Transvestite sounds like a slur. It does sound like a slur. Maybe we should look it up because I don't want to get a. What would I call a? I don't want this to come transvestite. Trans person. What appropriate label terms for transgender? Transgender is it? We were saying transvestite. Maybe it is transgender. Respectful transition term from either. A guide to transgender terms. Glossary of trans words and how to use them. Frequently asked questions about transgender. So I guess the word is transgender. Transgender. But I still want to know what they call. What is a slur for a transgender person? What is a slur for a trans? I think we might have been right. I think it might have been trans. Calling people trans might be bad. Slur, because I really got it. Tranny. Okay, that's one I remember was bad. Tranny or tranny with a Y or tranny with an IE. Okay, that's right. I remember this. There's one that I've known for about 20 years. Usage. Raj Kovani wrote in The Guardian in 2010 that tranny had recently appeared to be undergoing reappropriation to be used by with pride by trans activists. Everybody's trying to reappropriate shit. Just don't. I don't even know what the. Uh, um. Okay, so I think tranny is bad. Trans might be bad, but I think transgender is what we call the trans people. I don't know any trans people. Ooh, I think I have a family member who's trans, but I've got to tell you, I don't know. I'm over here in my own struggle. I don't know what trans even is. Is it like being homosexual? Where I was talking to this about a family member, I was like, you don't have to have sex with a woman to know you're homosexual, right? It's not like I have to try it first and go, no, I don't like it, right? uh, we who are heterosexual have the benefit of just not questioning it and growing up into this thing and going, "Ooh, I don't know why, but I like Susie after summer school because she looks totally different." Um, right? It's not a I have to try it first, but is it? You're you're not until you go under surgery. I really need to look this up. I'm sure my ignorance on it, but again, um, I'm not really. I'm curious about it now because we're talking about it, but in my time away from the pod, I'm not really curious about it. So I'm not like, I wonder what the gays are doing. I kind of don't care. Uh, yeah, we are old. Let it be. No, it's like a man feeling as a woman inside, and vice versa. It's so what does that even mean? Feeling like a woman inside. Like I'm a guy. I'm a man. I don't know how I feel inside. I just what do I feel inside? Maybe I maybe that's the problem. I've never looked at how I feel inside. First off, I like drawing and painting and cooking. I like dogs and cats. I like walks and working out. That's the things I like. Now that I look inside, I am all those things, and I look inside and I am, oh my God, I don't see anything inside. Am I empty? Should I, what should I see when I look inside? I don't even know. Now that I'm trying, I don't even know what I would be looking for. Look inside. How you feel inside. What does that mean? What does, what should I be looking for when I look inside? How, man, you have got me on an existential trip. What does, what does, quote, how you feel inside me? Feel you inside me definition. I don't think that's the right thing. What does home mean? Feel blue definition. The tension between inner and outer self. Ooh, a strong inner self means that you cope well with your emotions and are self aware. I think I have that. The tension between inner self and outer self common in the modern world. Each of us tugged in multiple directions every day, and our actions and behaviors do not always align with our core values as a result. What are my core values? Oh my God, I'm running. Oh my God, I'm all over the place with this topic, with this question. I think my inner self is about art and, but see, art is always about masturbation, quite frankly, right? Art is about you and what you want and what you create. It's not art. You don't make art for other people, no matter what art you make, unless someone goes, "Hey, paint this picture for me." Then that's a you may paint art for, but is it really art? Versus needing to sit down and get it out, right? I know people get art degrees because they don't want to be lawyers. I don't really call them artists. Van Gogh was an artist. He could not help but to paint, right? He was an artist. Some people, if you took their guitar, their music, or whatever they claim to be art away, it wouldn't bother them at all. They'd go do something else. I love the fact that people talk about I'm retiring from music. Like I'm like, how do you retire from art, you idiot? Right? Just stop doing it. Right? You people go through dry spells, but the idea you're retiring from painting or acting or it's fucking singing. You're never gonna sing again. Just stop putting out albums and go away, and stop bothering me with this. Oh, he's not going to shake anymore. Death to art? Nah, it's his job if he's doing that. So I mean, inner monologue, outer monologues, I get inner self, outer self is tripping me up. I think my inner and outer self is the same thing, and I want the same thing, and I don't know why the world doesn't work, um, and how people can walk around hungry children. I don't get it. And I think that's my inner and outer self. But sexually, let's flip this. How do you look in your, we're going to have to do some acting here. How do you look in your, I guess you would be a male and look inward and see that you want to be a lady. Then my first question would be why? I think people get fascinated with people. I know what the Here's something that's unpopular. So I had this conversation a million years ago about the gays, the gays. I call them the gays because Dave Chappelle called them the gays, and he called white people the whites. I always thought that was hysterical. So I had a story about the gays a long time ago, and it was this girl, liberal Karen, in a Brooklyn bar, and we were talking about gays, and I was like, people get sick of women and just decide not to date because that's the way the human mind is, right? I'm gonna go climb that mountain, and other people are going, why? What? Why are you gonna go climb? Right? I'm just not gonna date any women anymore. This is ridiculous. And she was like, that is outrageous. Who would do that? And I was like, what? I was like, people come up with all kinds of strange rationales for everything. Why wouldn't it be strange rationales for sex? And she was like, they're born that way. I was like, that's what they say, they're born that way. People go to jail and engage in homosexual activity. Some look, sex. I'm telling you, but the way the conversation went with her, it was essentially people do shit all the time. Yeah, some people are born that, but not everybody is. And the law of I told her this. The law of averages dictates uh, that not everybody is what you claim they are. So yeah, now all of a sudden everybody is born gay. Some people just don't choose. And she looked at me like I had her. She just couldn't, because she knew there are no 100% of everything in nature, right? So 100% of people being born gay is not possible. But she was just out defending gay people and being right and spewing off stuff that she said, and then she ran into me, who thinks about everything, and I broke her brain. Then took her home and fucked her. But that's beside the story. An interesting conversation is an interesting conversation. Um, it was a good time. Oh, it was after it was a good time. But I was really mad at her because she was so adamant, and I was like, "What is wrong with you that you think no one chooses? People go to jail and sleep with people all the time. Some people don't view sex like you view sex, right? Like there's a famous movie called Hardcore with George C. Scott, and I saw it once and I remember it forever. I saw it on TV on Channel 5. And it's a story about this prostitute who, no, she wasn't a lesbian. She was just a girl in the city. She was a school teacher. I also had an argument with her about she was teaching in the inner city. She was teaching like 5 and 6 year olds. Oh, they're so precious, da, 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 and they need this. And I was like, she went in about, oh, why they don't have anything. And I was like, the wider argument about is what they do to their parents, why those children don't have anything. And we got into this whole argument about how you come down, you think you're the saving, and what you're really doing is patting yourself on the back and taking a shot at these kids' parents because they don't have. This is about your own ego. That second conversation, we didn't do what we did in the first conversation. But you know, it's it's watch. Everyone's got a narrative. So if you listen to black people narrative, is every white person is racist if I don't get my way. Yeah, there's racism. Yeah, we see it. But now the race that you see they're trying to change is rich black people talking about their Netflix deals. And this is outrageous. We want representation. What the fuck does representation get you? It gets you a production deal in Hollywood. How does that help out the black guy in Harlem or the black guy in Compton or the black guy in Miami? How does it help out the women movement, the single mom here or the single mom? You know what I'm saying? It's all people on TV telling you about this thing and they're there for you. But the solution is to give me money, which is why we were talking about the Black Lives Matter thing earlier. Uh, yeah, you America is always about having so much faith and because things are bad. And someone going up, I see your problem and I can help you out. And then you put your faith in them and then they go off and get rich and they fuck you over. And they don't do anything. And then another generation rolls by. Right? That's what the term woke means. The term woke means don't have faith in these people. These people. If you're new to the show, whenever I say these, depending on whoever I'm talking about, these are always a bad guy. So I'm talking about race. Those people are the racists. If I'm talking about sex and gender in the workplace, those people are the handsy, touchy, fucking rapists, right? And it goes so, you know, them, they, those, right? Uh, reputation, and don't get me wrong, reputation matters, right? But that's not a civil rights argument, and it's definitely not a civil rights argument to get you a Netflix deal, right? It's like here's an example of what I'm talking about. They're talking now about it wasn't racial, but it was like it had a racial tend to like, well, people need relief, and early back, like in a while ago, they were talking about, well, what we'll do is we'll forego your college loans. And when they said that, I was like, this is not a civil rights issue, college loans, and then they made it one. Poor black people, if they would have more money, and I'm like, how many people does this little argument affect? A college loan thing, right? And they're like, only $10,000. First of all, the people who want a college loan to get it probably owe Brown half a million, right? They own Columbia $1.5 million. Now they want loan forgiveness. And then they're going to come back and tell you it was good for you. Wait a minute. This doesn't pay up the line. It's not like, okay, now 10 years later, my kids go to college and there's loan forgiveness. It's a one and done for a handful of people. The payoff is for who here? So this is what I'm talking about when I get into these kind of ridiculous kind of like what who is people are trading on race and racism, right? So you hear the cops go, "Oh, this is outrageous," and they don't even do that. They just kind of go, "Oh, you should withhold judgment now that we shot that woman and her children. Just withhold judgment, right?" But when you do something and you shoot all of a sudden it's like he should have been hung immediately. And we're softer on crime, and we need more cops and more guns, and we need more money from the federal government, and you're just kind of like, what is the real story here? Covering up. I mean, America has been covering up incompetence for a while. And I tell people all the time, it's not just the poor black people they are poor white people. Cops have raped women let and it was allowed to like go unprosecuted and unpunished. Stolen money from people allowed to go unprosecuted and unpunished. Uh, yeah, man. I don't. These two guys are ridiculous. I don't even know. That's awesome. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just got surprised with a picture, which I think is awesome. Uh, so yeah. I mean, people always want you to favor them so they can get what they want, and then you go, "Hey, I elected you. I voted you. I need this," and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah. Next time, yeah, no, yeah, 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 yeah. Guards to send them out and before you're standing outside in the rain while they're sitting in this house that you built, you know, running through your daughters, quite frankly, and sending your sons off to war while their kids do what their kids don't even go to these. At least in the 30s, their kids had to. I think probably had to actually earn that degree. Do you really think George W. went to Harvard and earned a business degree from fuck anything? And I think that's what it is a lot. And you see this what is it, Operation Varsity Blue, where people are just paying for their kids to get into school and skate there, and you can see all these college athletes who all have college educations. Do you really think they went to class? No one ever has a picture of them in their college life, in a jacket, at a party, with a girl in a class. They never talk about me and Bob was studying for the chem test like 10 years ago. This was before we went to the Super Bowl, and we were talking about. They never mention. It's like it's just on their resume, but they were never there, right? If you ask me about my cop days, I could give you stories. But if I tell you I worked for the CIA and I never meant not CIA is super secret. All right. So let's say if I tell you I went from the cop days and I went and worked for the FBI, and then I never mention it again. I don't have any anecdotes. I don't have any stories. I don't have any pictures with friends. I don't have fucking anything. You know what I mean? Then you begin to go, hmm. So I always say, look, America is full of cartels, and when the guy comes in to fix it, everybody's is blatantly breaking the law. And the only thing is, I'm gonna put you in jail, and you won't put me in jail, right? They all agree. I can prove that they all agree with Donald Trump. So you ban Donald Trump from Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, but none of the press, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox News, will talk to a former president in a sit-down meeting. No one. It's like Donald Trump disappeared from the planet. Who orchestrated that? A sitting president can get no traction with the American Airways. So why do you think you could? Yeah, we're gonna run this place, and we're not gonna let you know what he thinks. but we're just going to talk about him for 2 years straight until the next midterms. Then we're going to talk about him for another year until the next election. You know, here's the thing about, yeah, reputation is good, but here's the thing about representation. Representation doesn't mean stick a black guy in the window. You might as well have an Indian in your storefront, right? A wooden Indian. Representation actually means, hey, by the way, I think this is bad. Oh, really? Let's hear your concerns. Well, okay, we won't do that then. But what it was is, well, we decided to part ways because so and so was sort of, we didn't see. Look, I didn't want them to make a slave movie with Julia Roberts, and they fired me, and they made it anyway. That's what it'll be, right? This is a bad idea. We're gonna side with our wallets, and you know, screw you, but no one's racist. Put these people in the worst possible position. Like there's a thing out that they had to change the name of. Where's my phone? They had to change the name of because it was called like the new slave or some shit. And people were like, and then they had this this picture of all these black people looking like this. Right? I was like, oh, that's fucking depressing. Um, he was only banned after the insurrection, I think. Yeah, yeah. But mind you, he was impeached twice. They were going after him hard because they didn't know what to do with him, and they still don't know what to do with him. So the only thing they can do with him is ban him from all communications from everybody, which is hard to do since he's a sitting president, right? So you bet like the idea that you can't hear what the former he wasn't the same president from 50 years ago who says crazy shit and you ignore him, right? Like Jimmy Carter, who's like, we're always at war and people are disrespectful, and Bill Clinton is just a rapey piece of shit. I don't they you don't see any like you'll see him, right? And if he gets sick, they'll put him on TV. Oh, we wish him well, but they don't ask him what he thinks because they know he's gonna tear them a whole new asshole. They don't ask Donald Trump what he thinks. That's different. Donald Trump was the last sitting president. That wasn't 10 years ago. That was 3 years ago. Actually, that was a year and a half ago. Um, why not? All of a sudden, the people in charge don't want him in charge. They're trying to lay insurrections at his feet. And if you know anything about insurrections, you don't leave the people who tried to overthrow the government to wander around and take the bus and planes and give talks about how they tried to. It wasn't an insurrection, it was a riot. It was a riot. It was a riot. Right? So all this insurrection talk is for look, there are people who like to hate, and everybody wants to be known to hate for a good reason, right? And this is what they're doing. And also, it's politics. New regimes come to power. Generally, you cut the heads off the old regime, and everybody's taking money and is absolutely corrupt. They're all easily arrestable. Um, and they hate Donald Trump for all the stuff that they've been doing forever, right? Except Donald Trump is talking. My whole favorite thing about that election when he ran, he was like, I gave you money and I gave you money, and that's what they don't want, right? That wild he won't stay in pocket. It's what they hate about black people, right? But you can get rid of black people. This guy was the president. He should. I don't care what you think. He should be tolerated. Let him say the dumbest shit, but let him say it because he was elected. He's not a celebrity that you're tired of. He was a sitting president and the last sitting president. It also says that the people in charge know what they're doing, and they've been getting it wrong a lot. So at this point, I really need to hear all people. And I was taught let the stupid people talk, so you can go, that dude's an idiot. I, I believe that women shouldn't vote, and I believe you should be able to marry a horse, and I believe that Jesus works at the Kmart. Vote for me for president. And everybody goes, you heard what that guy said? I'm not voting for that guy. But meanwhile, you kill his voice, and he just you only see him in snippets going, uh, vote for me. We all got to get this. This way you could people go. Oh, I like what he said. Do you hear the whole? You better look at what he said here that no one's letting you watch on YouTube or Twitter. Blah 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 blah. And then you can go. Oh, I almost voted for that fucking retard. Remember that movie, the Stephen King movie where everybody voted for the bad guy, and only the the dead end, the dead place, and only the guy who woke up from a coma who could see the future, right? Which is also another really interesting thing. When I first watched that, I was like, how do you know the guy seeing the future isn't crazy, right? This whole story implies that he's right, and the president's his guy's gonna become president and then cause a nuclear war, right? If that under that guide, I can be like, you know, Donald Trump should have been president because God said so, right? And then write a movie about it, or reverse. If Joe Biden gets elected, X Y Z will happen. It's a very interesting. What was the name of that movie? Dead. It was Dead something. Dead. It wasn't Dead Alive. Why do I have Dead Alive in my head? Dead Alive. 1992. A young man's mother. Yes. Okay. we're off on a rant. Go watch Dead Alive. It's Peter. What's his name? Peter. The guy who directed uh Lord of the Rings. Those movies. Peter. What is his name? The New Zealand guy. His first movie he directed was called Dead Alive, and it's about this browbeat boy with this overbearing mother, and this weird. It's a New Zealand horror movies. They're fucking awesome. And his mother gets bit by this Sumatran rat monkey, and so it becomes a weird. She dies and becomes a weird dead zombie. Yeah. It's it's. I don't like horror movies, but I love a horror movie that's just goofy and zany and ridiculous. Like I had to watch Cabin in the Woods because I heard it was such a good horror movie, and it was right. I had to watch Aliens because it was such a good suspense movie. The first one, the second one was an action movie. It wasn't a horror movie at all. It was an action movie. But generally, every now and then you get a horror movie that's so good I'll have to watch. But most of it is just schlock bullshit. Uh, what's that movie my ex would love to watch? I was like, I can't watch this with you. Dexter, where he was just murdering somebody a week. I was like, what is this garbage? So yeah, I can't watch that. Torturing people for the but yeah, Dead Alive, go watch that. But the movie I was looking for is not Dead Alive, it's Dead Again? 1991, another 1991 movie with Kenneth Branagh. I saw that one too. It was called Dead Something. Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing. I don't know. Let it be said, I don't know the exact definition, but it was more than a random or general riot. What would be more than a random or general riot? I mean, it was a big riot. It was a riot because the media is telling you it was an insurrection, meaning you need a new flag, you're going to get a new president, you're going to get a new vice president, you're going to get a new form of government from these yahoos who showed up in their work jackets from their gardener jobs. Those were the insurrectionists. Look, if this was all military people and some generals, I will absolutely get that. Just a random riot in a very sacred place, yeah, absolutely. It's like if I hop the White House wall, if you've ever been to the White House, it's not high. Let's say I managed to hop the wall before I was tackled and spray paint my tag on the opposite side of the giant wall on the grounds, right? Yeah, it's just tagging, and shame on you, you idiot. You just faced the place, but it's a sacred building. It's how you did it. You hopped over the right, so you're not just gonna be caught with like tagging and being a. You're gonna be charged with all this federal shit, right? To make an example of you. We don't care that he had no gun and he wrote Bob was here. You know, it's like the guy who killed that Roman emperor. And they were like, why'd you do it? This was like 3,000 years ago. He was like, because my name will ring out forever through the annals of history. And they were like, no one mentions his name, and summarily executed him. Fuck you, no one mentions his name. Everybody to this day knows his name. Right? It's like if you go to the Parthenon, there's graffiti from 2,000 years ago. Somebody in there, right? It's the nature of people. Tell me not to do it and watch me fucking do it. And some people will do it slyly. Don't touch that. Do you touch that? No, I didn't know that. But some people will be like, what? I'll touch whatever I want. Right? It's the nature of people. While other people go, that, oh yeah, okay, I won't touch that. You ever see that thing where the kids are eating cookies? Okay, don't touch this cookie. But when I come back, I'll give you two cookies if you don't touch it. Okay. And one little girl was like, it was the saddest shit. She looked like her mother left her on the side of the road to be picked up by random strangers. She had well, I don't even have anything around like a cookie. I could go get a cookie. She was just staring. Oh, I use this. It was on the table, and she was just staring at it. And then she started to cry, like tears, and she was like someone locked me in a room with a cookie, and I'm afraid for my life. They had to come in and go, "Oh, it's all right, honey, you can have the cookie." What kind of kid are you raising? Squishy ass children. Other kids were like, and they were like, one kid ate the fucking whole cookie. What happened to the cookie? Someone came in here and took it. 3 year olds, 4 year olds, right? It's the nature of people. So what is that? What did he tag? Some it was like Killjoy was here. It was like during the not the way before Napoleon. Uh, Graffiti on the Parthenon. Graffiti in history. Parthenon graffiti. This graffiti is one of the many around theories that are so big and so okay, that's new. Why is Greece covered in graffiti? Greece is covered in graffiti. Why does the Athenians Greece have so much graffiti? They're talking about now. People are just running around there painting over shit because why can't I find this? I don't want new graffiti artists. I want people from 1,000 years ago. Graffiti and history. Maybe this is it. Those who get angry at the sight of modern graffiti certainly have not heard of the Stone Chronicle, that collection of carvings that teach us about and remind us of times during the Turkish rule when the Greeks used the Parthenon columns as the newspaper and notebooks. There was the same ancient buildings originally dedicated to the Athenians that other virgins on the Acropolis of Athens. What? This was the same ancient building originally dedicated to Athena, the other virgin. Athena, the other virgin, on the Acropolis of Athens, where the Christian Virgin Mary was now being worshipped. Okay, the other virgin. I mentioned this on this pod a couple of days ago about I was watching this thing on YouTube. I should really find it again, and it was talking about what the Romans were saying about the new Christians when Jesus was around, right? And they were like, they called Mary. No, they called Jesus. We call him the Son of God. They were calling him the son of Pantera because Pantera was a Roman soldier, and they say he knocked up this girl, and she told her parents that God did it. So they were just openly ridiculing the idea of it. Even as every day there were more and more Christians, they couldn't figure it out. Uh, this was before they started killing them all, but they were just kind of like. Pfft. But to read it, it's amazing. The thing that I'm talking about is like 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes of old dead people going, these fucking Christians and their bullshit. It really is interesting. Um, in the 6th century, the Parthenon, the most famous temple of antiquity, was converted into the Christian church of Panagia Atheniotisa. Athen, Athen, Eoti, Iot, SSA, Atheniotisa, with a few changes. Inches was transferred to the west, and outer narthex was constructed. What the hell is a narthex? Okay, we're gonna look at this. Narthex, Narthex, narthex,
Northex. Northex.
narthex, an antechamber, porch, or distinctive area at the western. Why the western entrance? At the western entrance of some early Christian churches. Oh, because it was church. So okay. Separated off by a railing and used by catechumens, penitents. Okay, what is a catechumen? Catechumens. Humans, catechumens. What is a okay? Hold on. See, this is why I was both a good student and a bad student. I would run across words, stop and look it up. Then I would end up looking up 15 other words, then get back to my homework, have to start all over again from scratch. Uh, So I knew less of what the teachers wanted me to know, but I knew a lot of shit.
Catechumen. Catechumen.
Catechumen.
Catechumen. Catechumen.
Catechumen. A Christian convert under instruction before baptism. A young Christian preparing for confirmation. Wow, at one point I was a,
Catechumen.
but now I'm not. All right. Um, let's get rid of this. We looked up Nardak. Let's get rid of that. And we're back here. Was constructed. The church was decorated with mosaics and honored by all Christians. Even the Turks respected it. Yeah, we don't respect anybody else's anything anymore. All right, but this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for actual graffiti that they carved into the place. Graffiti. Where's the problem? Acropolis of Athens, Acropolis of Greece. Allegedly, what colors are you? The graffiti on. How about this? Ancient graffiti. Ancient graffiti. Pompeii. Let's do that. The body graffiti of Pompeii and Herculaneum. This wasn't the one I was looking for, but the one I was looking for was people wrote shit after people abandoned the Parthenon, right? It's like I was watching this thing yesterday, and they were talking about animals found in the permafrost. So they found like a moose that was like 40,000 years old, just frozen in the permafrost. Some guy saw an antler. He dug it out. There was a face. He went and got like some people, and it was a perfect like just because in the permafrost, uh, it's like an icebox. The disease doesn't get it. Like it doesn't, it's a. And they found like a lion cub in a cave, and they say it died because the cave had collapsed and it was like crushed. It was like the face was like this. And they found like a few of them. So they were like, oh, all these lion cubs from some ancient tiger, giant ass tiger, roaming Alaska, left his cubs here, and then the cave fell in on them, and then they left. God only knows. This was 30,000 years ago. Then they realized one of the cubs wasn't really crushed. It was emaciated. It had starved to death. They were like, and mind you, they're out here like uh, what do they call it? Preserved because of the air and right, cold air, cold climate, no diseases, steady kind of temperature of like -8 for like 30,000 years. Um, they were like, why is one crushed and one emaciated? They did a not DNA. They did a what do they call it when they can test your they can find your bones and test it to see how old you are. Carbon dating, right? So they carbon dated it. The first one that the thing had fallen on had died 30,000 years ago from the wall collapsing and crushing it. And the other one had died 18,000 years ago because the mother abandoned it and it starved to death in that cave. And I was like, so they were there. One was there under a rock for 18,000 years. Well, one was 30,000 years old and one was 19,000. So one was there for like 10, 12,000 years before the other showed up, left its cub, essentially abandoned it, and walked off into the tundra of Alaska. And only it and God knows what happened to that animal, right? But isn't it amazing that humans make things and it's still here and they make it out of human matter? You and your partner will get together, make a person, and that person will make a. I mean, that's we all know that. But then you'll leave a skeleton behind that's still here, someplace, right? The only place you really disappear from completely is if someone sticks you in the dirt, the worms eat you, the moisture essentially rots your bone, becomes goo, and then you're all gone, right? Or the ocean, which if you put a body in water, running, moving water like a stream, that whole body is gone in weeks. If you dump that whole body now, because the water is running over it, water will take it completely out. But if you leave it in like if you drop it in the ocean, all ocean life will it'll be gone in literally maybe one is months, but the other was definitely like weeks, like days. Like everything will eat you. Everything will eat first. Stuff will eat your meat, fish, right? And then the stuff that won't eat your meat, the minerals will digest those. And on top of that, the salt in the ocean will make your bones just sort of like, and then like you just burst into nothingness. Well, you came from nothingness, right? A packet of information delivered by your father to a packet of information held by your mother, and there you go, you. Um, William. Dead Zone. Yes, that was the name of the movie. Dead Zone with who was in that movie? Christopher Walken, right? Wasn't Christopher Walken the weird Dead Zone guy? And then there was a TV show. But yeah, somebody like, you know, said the president's going to start a war, so I got to kill the president. You look at that movie, you go, that really a good message you want? God told me that I should hop the White House gate because the president isn't eating enough fiber. Oh no, I dreamt about it, so it's absolutely they'd be like, that's good. Why don't you sit in this padded cell and tell us about it for the next 30 years? Um, yeah, that guy who shot the president, he was in jail for 30 years, and they still got an eye on him, and it makes sense, right? You shot like a notable leading figure of your nation. People should look at where you are and what you're doing forever. um, so apparently, I can't find any of the. Oh well, they didn't. They're not showing any pictures, but they have quotes. Taverna Verunctus. Restitutus says his name is Restitutus. Restitut. Restitute us. Restitutus says, Restituta, take off your tunic, please, and show us your hairy privates. Bar brothel, I guess bar brothel of Inula Papilla. Weep, you girl, my penis has given you up. Now it penetrates men's behinds. Goodbye, wondrous femininity. Oh, all right. Uh, do we even want to put this up on screen? Some of these are fucking awesome. Let's close this. It is getting cold. Let's go to the. Ooh, that was not good. I almost popped my knee. Let's go to the other room and close that window. All right. We are gonna read some bawdy tales from 5,000 years ago. Now, if you get all excited by the swag of this guy's wit and Vivian verve, remember he's been dead for about 4,000 years. Uh, Everyone is now familiar with the release of quite explicit photos and charges found on the walls of a brothel excavated at Pompeii. The resort town destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 CC. In 79 CC. Now, for your viewing pleasure, comes a list of bawdy graffiti scrawled on the walls of Herculaneum. Excuse me, of Herculaneum and Pompeii, which confirms, excuse me, if we didn't already know it, that the Romans were people exactly like us, albeit slightly more obsessed with defecation. Ugh. Or, on second thought, maybe not. Here's a summary of some of the funnier and ruder graffiti translated so far. All right, so let's do 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 do. Let's get that good and big. Should I even put the? Yeah, you know what, y'all are not gonna believe me. We're gonna put this up. I was supposed to end this stream, but that's all right. It's the weekend. Present stream. All right. Select stream. I'm selecting that. Don't be ridiculous. Ha ha ha. I can see. Now I got to do this. This allows you to read what I'm talking about. All right. No, I don't want it to be big because then I can't see. I can only see Kundus. You can't see all the rest of that. Uh, Come on. All right, here you go. You ready? So we just read this. The Tavern of Vercundus. Restitutus says, Restitutus, Restituta, take off your tunic, please, and show us your hairy privates. Bar and Brother, we read this. Weep, you girl, my penis has given you up. Now it penetrates men's behinds. Goodbye, wondrous femininity. Ugh. Dismiss this. Hey, where were you, William? We were looking for you. I was worried about you. I was about to call the cops and go have them check on you. Bar and Brothel of Innopolis. Oh, we just read that? Okay, we're here. What is up with this? Sometimes, man, this freaking mouse. House of Cythorus. How much is this? There's a lot of these, mind you. There's a lot of these. Ooh, and there's pictures. Getting a blowy, which is nice. What is this? Uh, sex with a lady, and I guess a guy penetrating you as you penetrate her. Alrighty. And then there's this, which are non-click onable, which somebody explained that to me in a modern world. All right. House of Cythorus. Below a joint of a man with a large nose. Amplicus. Amplicatus. I know that Icarus is buggering you. Salvius wrote this. I know that Icarus is buggering you. Salvius wrote this. Buggering is a British word, so this tells me that the translator who translated this was British. Because if I had translated this, I probably wouldn't have used buggering. Banging, I would have used, but you can't use fucking. Excuse my language. You can't use right. So, but buggering is a very British word. We Americans don't use it. House of Cuspius Panza. House of Cuspius Panza. The finances. The finances. The finances with an S. Officer of the Emperor Nero. The finances officer of the Emperor Nero says this food is poison. A 2,000-year-old restaurant critic. 2,000 years old. The finance officer of Emperor Nero says this food is poison. The finances. Oh, all his finances officer. All right. Okay. A bar. Just says it was at a bar. We two dear men, friends forever, were here. If you want to know our names, they are Gaius and Aulus. Aulus. Me and my homie were here, and these are our names. 1,000 years later, I'm reading them to you on a miracle that they could not possibly have fathomed. It's the way the world works. I mean, look, think like this. 200 years ago in this country, you see me walking down the street with this bomb ass white lady. You, as someone from 200 years ago, oh my God, there's a Negro and he's with a lady, and I can see her, I can clearly see her shape. I can see her knees and her elbows. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? How did she get her hair to stand up? And why is she, there'd be all sorts of things and you could do the same thing. Imagine somebody coming from the future. And I'm not talking about, and that's the thing. The future, you think you'd be able to recognize them because you can't really envision the future. It would have to be something wild. Like if I said somebody can, like a phone call, all of a sudden you have someone's voice and image in your house through a phone. What if that was the same thing, just them like beamed in? You'd be a little more familiar with the idea because we all saw Star Trek, right? But no one really buys that shit. I remember the microwave. I was like, so it instantly heats stuff? That's amazing, right? But the last miracle, I think, was likely light. Not light, sound. Like vision is catching vision on camera and sound were two of the greatest miracles the human animal has ever cracked, right? So can you imagine the first time someone saw it or heard their voice? They must have been like, "That's it. That's my." How do you catch something as ephemeral as a voice? How do you catch something as complex as an image? So can you imagine where we're going to be in 100? Not 100, but not 1,000 either. 100's too short and 1,000's too long. But I mean, when I think the future, I don't think you or I, well, not one, will ever see it. So that means it's got to be like 150, 200 years after we're here, right? We have to be just as shocked as if you showed up to the founders in your SUV, talking about it runs on the corpses of dead dinosaurs. It runs on the juice of dead animals from 10,000 years ago. And I don't. And you show up there with an AR-15 and a handgun and deal with the racists, right? You show up with a doctor and you start curing shit. What is that? Rickets? Eat this apple. What you got? Scurvy? Have a lemon. What? Your dick don't work? Here's some Viagra for you. Can you fucking imagine? I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna cure all your diseases. I'm gonna cure your ricket. I'm gonna help you with your Alzheimer. I'm gonna fix your glaucoma because that's super easily fixable now. I'm still gonna run through your daughters because apparently that's always a thing in modern technology. There's always some. We're reading about sex now, right? You're not gonna get away from sex or hunger with the human animal. They're biological imperatives. Being hungry, so I will steal or kill for food, right? I'm not stealing or killing for a house or anything. But the base shit, I may hide in a house. I can't steal one, but I can kill you for a sandwich because it's biological imperative, right? And people always want sex. This is why it's sad to say, but you won't ever end rape in the world because and mind you, rape isn't about sex; it's about violence, right? But it's connected to a primal energy. You can you can just like you won't get rid of thievery. Thievery is the same thing, right? You won't get rid of any of these things where something whispers to the in the subconscious of a person to do something. That's connected to us before society, right? So you won't ever get rid of violence. People will kill each other still because people will get angry and rage. You're never going to get rid of that. You're never, like I said, you're never going to get rid of rape. Sadly enough, you might be able to get rid of racism, but you're not going to get be able to get rid of racism, right? Because at the end of the day, if I don't like you, people always don't like you for a reason, and race is a good reason not to like somebody, right? It's a pat little box of everything someone told me about somebody, and I can just embrace and say I'm a failure because of that reason, right? And I could do this with black people, right? All these foreigners come here, and it's the society's unfair to me, and they get a break. I fucking hate foreigners, right? Um, you can do white people can do it with black people. Get all this stuff from the government. I can't sort my business. Damn, the blacks get everything, right? You can do it with women, right? I can't get a woman. I can't get a date. They only want money. Greedy, greedy bitches, right? All this stuff lies in someone's like psyche, right? So people not even just snapping, but plotting against the people that they claim to love. You're not going to get rid of that. But I think a lot of this other stuff you can get rid of. You can get rid of hunger, right? So now nobody's going to be stealing because they're hungry. America has so much money, and people steal just to fucking steal. And that's really where it is. There's enough for everybody, but why am I playing with this microphone? Um, yeah. So let's read some more sexiness. Maybe I'll start my OnlyFans and I read bawdy tales online to you. I used to love reading those. My sister, I don't know who had it in my family. It must not have been my mother. My mother was a good Christian mom. I think it was my sister. And there were those dime store novels. There was just as many dime store novels with a girl on the cover and a handsome, strong guy with flowing hair talking about pirates and shit. Those books always had rape in them, by the way. Talking pirates, right? Um, just as many of those as old books that was my mom's when she was like a first run, like books from like the early 30s when my mom was a little girl. Uh, um, Mark Twain books, what's the name of those boys? Him and the black guy went down the river on a raft. Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, right? All those books from like, yeah, that my parents had. I don't even know what, they're still in their house in Delaware now because my mom is, though she doesn't get rid of shit. She's not she just doesn't get rid of shit. Um, yeah, all those books. And a lot of them like and back then I guess my brother had like the star hero books and my sister was reading romance novels and I read a couple of them when I was like 15 sitting on the shelf down there and they're all rapey but the ladies like to be raped That's what. Oh, he took me and I hated him. And at the end of the book, it's I loved him and I love with him. I was like, oh, this book is weird. But it wasn't really written for me. Whoever wrote it knew what women wanted to read. Uh, I actually had a girlfriend who had one of those fantasies, and I was like, absolutely not. I'll do a lot. I'm not doing that. I'm not climbing in windows for your fantasy. Uh, we two dear friends forever. Here we are. You want to know our names? It's Gaius and Aulus. 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 How you pronounce that? I think Gaius was like John 5,000 years ago. Everybody's name was Gaius. Pronounce. Here you go. Aulus pronunciation.
Aulus,
His name is Aulus.
Aulus, Aulus,
Okay, Alusa. I'm just gonna go with that
Aulus,
because this sounds like he's speaking with a Spanish accent, so it's not the same. House and office of Volesius Levinskus. Secundus says hello to his prima, whoever she is. I asked my mistress that you love me. Secundus says hello to his prima, whoever she is. Period. I ask my mistress that you love me. I ask my mistress that you love me. I don't even understand what that means. Bar of Ethicus. I screwed the barmaid. That's just boasting. I screwed the barmaid. Or you would have used screwed. I screwed the barmaid. Oh, cousin is prima. Okay, so let's read that again. Secundus says hello to his cousin, wherever she is. Period. I ask my mistress. I ask, comma, my mistress, comma. I asked. I'm assuming he's asking his mistress that you love me. I'm asking back then the mistress was the the important person and you worked in her house, right? I asked my missus, so maybe he had a thing for his boss's wife, or maybe his boss was his cousin. Prima says hello to his Secundus. I'm Secundus. I say hello to his prima, his cousin, wherever she is, right? So she's wherever she is. I ask that I love you. Okay, I screwed the barmaid. That's a good one. Who don't like to bang the barmaid? Pottery shop at the pottery shop or bar of Nicanor. Lesbianist. You defecate and you write. Hello, everyone, comma. The Romans really were obsessed with scatology. You shit and you write. Hello, everyone. Ah, man. Okay. Gladiator barracks. Floronius, privileged soldier of the Seventh Legion, was here. The women did not know of his presence. Only 6 women came to know. Too few for such a stallion. So Bob the soldier came through, and not nearly enough women in this brothel got to meet him. Is essentially what he's saying. Only 6. I only banged 6 girls in this brothel. Not nearly enough for them to like. That's just kind of swag. I'm in all my life. One thing I thought was just abysmal is prostitution. Just not. But in my later life, I've come around. I think it probably does mitigate some shit. But at the end of the day, I still think it's scuzzy. Yeah, I don't judge it like I used to, but I don't want to know you, and I don't want you to be around me. I don't want to touch anything you touch. It's skeevy. It's skeezy. Um, but yeah, girls got to make a living, right? And who am I? I'm pro weed, for God's sakes. Why can't somebody be pro prostitution? Weed doesn't cause diseases, though. All right, nah, 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 nah. All right. I'm trying to be, but at the same time, I'm still sort of like some of this stuff is just ridiculous. I think. Uh, Octius hung out here with his girlfriend Cythera. Gladiator barracks. Another soldier saying, "Hey, I hung out here with my girlfriend," and he named her. Must right? I love this woman. This is my name. I'm hanging out with my baby 5,000 years ago. Versus the guy above him who's like, man, I'm just running through poon. Nothing. And don't get me wrong. Look, listen, men get a lot of bad uh, for like sex and what we like. But women are always, not all women, but women are always, how can I say this without sounding bad about it? Women are always being sexual, right? So you're not always asking a woman out, but a woman is always being sexual. Um, and you may go, well, what is sexual? What does that mean? Women are always being sexual. Uh, the whole visage of the modern woman, I think, is very sexual. I think so. Um, and I think if a woman went out, because look, we make fun of women and men who look funny at Walmart. I've given up dressing cool. I just looked, man. When I lived in New York, I looked all right, but now I'm just kind of like a hoodie and long sleeve shirts of four colors. You know, I'm not even trying anymore. Um, but when I was trying, I was dating and chasing women and wanting to, you know, check out your garden, see if I was invited over to do that. Now I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm just fucking tired. I don't really have time to fucking humor you and buy dinner and do other the crazy shit. And I think as you get older, you fall in with people. As younger, you go and seek people out. As you get older, you may fall in with people and you go, yeah, we like each other. Let's kick it. And then before you know it, you're a thing. And I think a lot of that happens. And when that happens, you're not trying to wear, what do women wear? Fancy shoes or those purses that the rappers always rap about. I don't know whatever the cool thing is. You're not doing that anymore. You're just probably out in blue jeans and a pair of comfortable sneakers with a decent haircut, whether that's in a bun or just under a hat, and you're just chilling, right? And versus what we were growing up with. Oh, you got to get together. You got to go out to the clubs. You got to have the latest this. You got to look that. You got to be duh. And then eventually, you're just kind of like, man, I'm just fucking tired. I don't want to go buy the latest this, that, or the other thing. Um, yeah. House of Pasius, Hermes, watch it. You that shits in this place. May you have Jove's anger if you ignore this. Who's Jove? Not Job, Job in the Bible. Jove, Jov. Jove. Jupiter since one. By Jove, or less commonly by Jove. Chiefly British or old fashioned, sometimes humorous. Used interjectively to express surprise, to add emphasis by. Oh, God. Okay, so who's Jove? What is Jove? The mild oath or euphemism, the first by Jesus or by God. Jove is another name for Jupiter. Okay, the principal Roman god. Okay, so by God, don't do X. So back then they weren't Christians, so they were saying by Jove, which is another. Thank you, Let It Be. Oh, Let It Be in the chat with the save. So they were simply saying by Jove, don't shit in this place. For the love of God, don't take a crap in this place. And God help you if you do. What is that? So you go into like a 7-Eleven bathroom and you really have to go and there's no door hinge, there's no lock, there's stuff crawling around. There might be a head floating in but you gotta go. And he's like, when I was a kid, they were saying you could get herpes from toilet seats. Remember that? And it turns out you can't get herpes from toilet seats. You can only get herpes, you know, from. Hey, do you know that most sexually transmitted diseases are passed around? Do you know what sex passes around the transmitted diseases? Mostly, it's women. Because the issues are interior. If it was a god, you could see it on the exterior of what the guys are walking around with. Isn't that crazy? I never actually even thought of that until a lady friend of mine, pointed it out to me. And that was the story because the guy wanted to beat her ass. Um, watch it. That shit, you may have Job's anger. So watch it. You that shit in this place. You may have God's anger if you ignore me. Street wall, Theophilus, don't perform oral sex on girls against the city wall like a dog. Reasonable, reasonable advice, methinks. Don't perform oral sex on girls against a city wall. Why not? It was one of my favorite things to do in my old days. Against the city wall, on the F train, on the Q5 bus. Keep me out. I dare you. Interior of a small house. I'm sorry. I want to apologize. I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm too much sex talk on a Sunday morning. I'm gonna turn on the water. I'll be right back because we are going long apparently. Talking about sex and now we're going long. I did not mean that. I apologize. All right. Um, I should get a lady host. So I mean, it would be nice to have a lady's opinion on some of this stuff, especially the sex stuff, because I've only know sex from one direction, the pusher, right, the stroker, the shover, the chaser, right, and there's a different aspect to that. Although I think chasing can be done by both groups, but yeah. Gaius Sabinus says a fond hello to Statius, Statius. Look at the man. I gotta tell you the where is it? What am I looking for? Here it is. Okay, let's take this and go over here. I'm just looking at what this thing looks like on YouTube. Oh my God, it's so bad. All right, yeah, we're going on Twitter, and I'm making my mission to do it by Wednesday. Well, we do Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. So by next Friday, we're going to be gaming because this. I mean, look at this feed of this. This feed is fucking ridiculous. Let's shrink this down and get back to it. All right, there's a lot of these. Should have named Gaius Sabina says a fond hello to Stadius, traveler. You eat bread in Pompeii, but you go to Nuceria to drink. At Nuceria, the drinking is better. Second ever restaurant critic. Gaius, another Gaius, says a fond hello to Stadius, his homie, right? Traveler, I guess it's like saying homie, like baller. He's traveling baller. No, and back then nobody left their little towns, right? You eat bread in Pompeii. I mean, you go to New York, but you drink at McDonald's, but you eat at McDonald's. You eat bread in Pompeii, but you go to New Syria to drink. At New Syria, the drinking is better. So he's saying you go to Pompeii and you drink there, New Syria, but that sounds weird. I think that's got to be a mistranslation because it sounds like you go to this place and you eat at this place, you drink at this place, but the drinking is better in another place. It doesn't sound like but you drink. See that the but is the problem here. You eat bread in Pompeii, but the but is a caveat. But you go to Nuceria to drink. And then he says at Nuceria, the drinking is better. Wait, what is it? What? Yeah, see that whole thing doesn't hit the ear well. House of Cosmos and Epidia. Aufidius. Orphidius. Oh man, these names are fucking awesome. Orphidius was here. Goodbye. Classic but boring. I was here and now I'm gone, literally. Just outside the Vesuvius Gates. Ooh, Mount Vesuvius. This, mind you, this is all graffiti from a place that was blown up by a uh, a volcano, right? So take it for what it's worth. There you are, chilling, getting your situation dealt with by the lady of the day at the Pompeius, whateverishness. Probably a lady and a guy, because there was no. And then all of a sudden the ground shakes, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?" And then in an hour, you're dead. Oh my God. That's the way it works, right? Disaster happens upon you. I remember watching a video on YouTube of people playing in a creek, and a flood came through. Get out of water! And one guy got trapped. They never found him. And this is the thing about those floods. You're moving at the speed of highway traffic, and you're slamming into bridge embussment, a train. Something may come and hit you. You're getting trapped under stuff while you're underwater. Things can be ripped off you. I have seen some floaters that were, yeah. And then at the end of it, you're assuming that you're in one giant piece as a person, but your hand could be gone, your leg could be torn off here, and then you end up essentially torso about that big, which could be under anything, right? Sometimes you're underwater, sometimes you're under 8 feet of sediment. And after the water dries out, you just become buried, and whatever eats you naturally eats you, and they never find you. Look, you ever wonder about the fly who gets caught in your house, or the bird who gets this? For all of us as a herd of animals, most of us make it through, but some of us get car accidents. I just had a car accident in my family. It killed a member of my family. Right? Just randomness of life. You'll go to war as a soldier. Right? Not everybody in war gets shot or has to shoot. Right? But that's the front line I'm talking about. But some will and some won't, and some will have, and that's just a round robinness of the fuckery of life, right? That's what going back to what I said earlier. There are no absolutes. 100% of your soldiers die? No. 100% of your soldiers live? No. That's right. So 100% of people don't pick. Like, for instance, my sexuality, I am torn between being celibate, because I'm really sick of the bullshit, or being uh, uh, pansexual, which means more than one lady. I'll do you and your sister. No, I won't. I won't do. That's just you can't. Don't mutter around in the same family. But having a girlfriend here and a girlfriend there, I don't have a problem with. Right? Having a girlfriend there and a boyfriend there, I don't have a problem if that's you. Right? I do have an issue with having a girlfriend here and a girlfriend here and a girlfriend here. Three of the same sex. That's just ridiculous. Right? You want to have the auspices of maybe able to raise a lovely little family, fathers and daughters, mothers and sons, right? Versus mothers and mothers and mothers and some sons, right? I think you need the view of the opposite sex in your relationship. Because I told the story before. My mom was telling me goofy stuff. My father was like, don't tell that boy that, right? And the only two of them who ever had boy experience was my dad. And my dad did the same thing years later with my sisters. And my mother was like, they're not gonna stay home all day. They can go out and talk to people and get phone calls. And she had to tell him essentially, stop being ridiculous. You want to live here forever? You want somebody to marry him? Get him out of here, right? And then as a guy, you got to be like, all right, well, I guess I gotta not be so strident or stringent and listen to my wife who knows about this and she's right, and vice versa, versus just being right all the time. Wow, are we ever gonna finish this? I don't think we're gonna finish this. How long have we been going? I should really. What is this? Okay, it's 12:30, and we've been going since 10, so that's 2.5 hours. Oh, this is a pretty good one. We used to do 5 hours all the time. We're trying to finish this. House of Ephesus with here. Goodbye, classic. Just outside the Vesuvius Gate. Shitters may everything you turn out okay so you can leave this place. Shitting again. Shitter. May everything turn out okay so that you can leave this place. And the guy writing, who wrote this writes, shitting again! Exclamation point. What is it with these guys? Question mark. Although as I get older, comma, I do appreciate this advice. In brackets. Barracks of the Julian Claudian gladiators. Salatus. All these names are no longer names. Even the Greeks don't use a lot of these names. I mean, I think people still use Gaius because Julius Caesar was a Gaius, right? You want to name your kids after great people. Uh, the Thracians make the girls moan. Salatus. The Thracians make the girls moan. There's no praise like self praise. Barracks of the Julian Claudian gladiators. So he's saying I, the Thracian, makes the girls moan. That's like me saying True from Brooklyn gets all the bitches. You know, it's the same thing. It's the same energy. Have we changed much? Right? I'm pretty sure right now it's, hey, lady, you look pretty. How are you? As a lady walks by. And I'm sure back then it was whatever the remake of, hey, Thracians make the girls moan. And, you know, I wonder what the women were like then. In such a sexual environment, women had a lot of power, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure they were all walking around going, oh, leave me alone. And oh my goodness, I'm, the men just want to. I'm pretty sure the other girl was like, you better fucking get some of that penis. Who owns what? It was a little more honest, right? I guess about what people wanted. On the streets of Mercury, Publius Comicus Restitutus stood right here with his brother. And did you take? Okay, this is what he wrote. And did you take a shit? Publius Commodus Restitutus stood right here with his brother. Okay, good graffiti. House of Sextus Pompeius Axius Axiochus Axiochus and Julia Helena. Julia is a really old fucking name. Right, the Julian calendar. Julius Caesar. What am I thinking? Right, obviously Julia Helena. Hestus, baby. Mercator says hello to you. So he's shouting out at some woman. Baby, Mercator says, what's up? Look, ladies, men will love you forever. Look at us. We got written in stone for all the world. People write love songs about women. I think men get a really bad rap from these modern women trying to make their way. That's why I call it the gender wars. I think you should watch it. Uh, Crew Lalagas, why do you not love me? Aw. Vico Delgli Scienziati. Crew Lalagas, why do you not love me? This sounds like a guy wanting another guy to love him. House of Orpheus. I have buggered men. Okay? I guess it's a statement. Proud as a peacock. I have buggered men. Woodworking shop of Potitus next to a bar. So this is someone's house. House of Orpheus. Orpheus wrote on the wall, he buggered men. Someone buggered men. Woodworking shop of Pontitus next to a bar. Would that you pay for all your tricks, innkeeper? You sell us water and keep the good wine for yourself. Nothing changes in 2,000 years. Today it's a glass full of ice and nothing else. would you pay? Would that you pay for your dirty tricks, innkeeper? Yeah, he's watering down shit and overcharging you. Atrium of the house of Panaris. If anyone does not believe in Venus, they should gaze at my girlfriend. That is straight baller. Atrium, atrium of the house of Panaris. If anyone does not believe in Venus, they should gaze at my girlfriend. That's awesome. House of Silius, Blandus. It took 640 paces to walk back and forth between here and there 10 times. It took 640 paces to walk back and forth here and there 10 times. Why are you doing that? Vico del Panatia, House of VB Merchants. Adamius got me pregnant. Well, at least we know a lady wrote that. Vicolo del Panatier, House of V. Oh, so it wrote. Who wrote it? At the House of VB Merchants. So at the House of VB Merchants, Vicola del Panateria. I guess women had O's in their names versus Vicolo. Adamus Adametus got me pregnant. Now here's the thing about this: was she happy to get pregnant by him? Was it a bold statement? Oh my God, right? Or was it like, God damn it? You don't know. But as someone who's hopeful, I like to think that, oh, that's nice. And then they ran off and had a lovely orgy, and he got a bunch of other people pregnant. Aw. House of Caprasius Primus. I don't want to sell my husband, not for all the gold in the world. I don't want to sell my husband. Secundus likes to screw boys. Eh, Eumachia building, Via del Abadanza. Secundus likes to screw boys. Who's Secundus? And apparently, in an era where people were fucking young people, someone had a problem with this. Or it could be just kind of like, haha, he likes to screw boys. But I'm running on the millennial 2022 that boys are children under the age of 15, right? Because quite frankly, in my years of police, I don't hear very many 16 and 17-year-olds get molested. Um, I hear 15 and under, right? Boys. On June 15th, oh, wait, second is like two boys. The Lupinaire. I screwed a lot of girls here. I screwed a lot of girls here. The Lupinaire on June 15th, Hermero screwed here with Philanteris and Capheus. Okay, the same place, Luminaire. On June 15th, you got the date. Too bad we didn't get the year. Homeros, Hermeros, screwed here with Philaterus, and Capheus. Caphisus. Capheus. Obviously a popular place for Capheus. Okay, on this day, he screwed, on June 15th, Hermosa screwed here. So did he fuck Philaeus and Capheus? Or did him and these other two people, go and screw at a place? And was Philaterus and Capheus, sounds like guys' names. Um, the Lumineer Solemnis, you screw well. So it's hard to know what the women wrote because I'm pretty sure. Granted, graffiti is a thing generally more associated with men, but women do everything the guys do. They just don't do it in the same numbers. So I'm never surprised that women do anything. But I'm always like, you ever read like on YouTube? I like to just skim through comments and see how many women commented on something to get a general sense of it. This is a, sometimes it's universal. What kind of ice cream do you like? You get a lot of every, but sometimes people are like, it's a little more edged out toward the guys, and you wonder how you screw down, and not wonder, and you because you're going to get a woman in there, and you go down and you wait to see how long before a lady pops up. And you usually know it's not like Let It Be, right? Because that's not a picture or a name that you would associate, right? But if you see like a lady's face in a picture, there's a 50% chance it could be a lady, it could be a troll. But it's a good gauge. You go, wow, that was like 4 minutes of scrolling before a lady's name even popped up in this feed. So you can tell a lot of people read it, and a lot of women were like, "Fuck you," or "This idiot man," or whatever. But every now and then you get a some, and they start early, so you know that they're engaged in the conversation. You know what I mean? And it's good, and you know that the conversation is appealing to women too. So yeah, that's a trick that I do. You should adopt. Also, I don't talk to people who don't have. If I make a comment and someone leaves a comment, if they have a fake name and a fake picture, I generally on YouTube. I generally don't fuck with it. I let them say what they say because there's a lot of trolls. Um, and my picture is my image and a takeoff of my name because I'm not here saying women shouldn't work or all this other dumb shit that so I don't have to hide my identity. Uh, but and I talk politics, so I talk generally serious stuff. So if you're not talking serious stuff, I'm looking at the chat and looking at you, Let It Be. So if you're not talking serious stuff and you're just cruising, this it's fine to have like to not be recognized. But if you're out, in my thing, if you're out arguing your point, you should stand by it, right? So you're just sitting here going, Black Lives Matter is all criminals, but your picture is a flag and it says own the libs. I'm not even talking to you. You're a moron. But if your name is, and it might not even be your name, Bob Bobson, and there's a picture of some random Bob, I'll engage you for a minute. Because for all I know, well, it's hard to say I'm not me. I mean, in my picture and I do videos, so you know it's me. But a lot of people on YouTube don't even have video on any of their accounts. They just sign up for YouTube and they just wander around looking at what other people do, which is fine. But other people look to cause chaos and wreck. And those people always can't. If you're having a nice time, they can't wait to come in and kick over your sandcastle. And those people are abundant online. There are people saying shit online that you would not say to anybody standing anywhere. You know what I mean? Because some of these people are just internet heroes, and some of them are just angry, mean, and bullies and pieces of shit, and formidable. Right? They might be 6'4", but the majority of them, and they're not all teenage boys being idiots online. A lot of them are just fucked up losers, right? And if you call them on it, the way people are losing their jobs and their shit, they'd be the first to be like, like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has to now apologize for using nigger for fun and games on his podcast because people will dig up shit you said, edgy boy, edge lord. Right now, nigger, nigger, nigger. Fuck that. I don't care. I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man. Then 10 years later, when you're trying to get this job at Walmart, Wall Street, this, online, whatever, and then someone remembers you said it, I'm not gonna look it up. Some people, your enemy hires some people to go through everything and look it up, but other people know you said it, right? And you may have had a falling out with them, so a lot of people don't even have to look far. People you know who you've interacted with will be like, "Man, he said this like so and so," and I have to tweet the thing or whatever, right? And that's people. I'm not a great person. I try not to be an asshole for very simple reasons. I don't like to come up on assholeism. um, New York PD officer. Which officer? First of all, the NYPD's Internal Affairs Bureau don't do jack shit. Uh, Look, when I say the whole place is taken over by racists, I don't mean just one organ. I mean they're everywhere. There's no pushback to the bullshit going on in the New York City Police Department. And now that they've gone silent, like North Korea did under Trump, right? They're like, well, we got a black player. He was a police captain, and we were assholes. But you know what? We're not going to say anything. We're just going to wait him out. And then we're going to go back to telling you how every black person in this city, you shouldn't even ask us why we shot him dead in the street. Look at him. He's black, and he's walking around like it's all right. Yeah, police in New York City, it is all right. Well, you're just soft on crime. What was the crime? Not liking you. There's a lot of this going on here. The intern look, they're not going to fix it. I've given up hope on this shit. In order to fix that agency, it's not going to come from within. It's going to have to come from without. So I'm a proponent of the New York City Police Department. Love the organization. Proud ex-member. Am I an ex-member or am I a proud member? I call myself a retired member in good standing. Right? I wish they fix it. I want to be able to tell everybody, try and get the job, work hard. It's great. Then don't stay there forever. Take that and jump and go to get a law degree and right? Make law enforcement a thing you love for the rest of your life. But if you love law enforcement, you hate bad guys. And if you hate bad guys, why are you working with a bunch of bad guys? I've got the scars for racist bullshit in the unit that I worked in. So I'm not even going to get into it. So I'm often on here talking about the unfairness I ran with and the guys that I work with who just killed people and no one cared. Right? What do you think is going to happen to me? An MSNBC deal? Pff, unlikely. I'll probably be reviewed and my pension pulled or some shit. Not because I did anything, but because people in charge do whatever they want, and then they bring you into court. But you'll go to court to get, you know, be done right by, and their friends are running the court. It is what it is. They said they were falsifying problems to increase overtime. You don't really need to falsify these problems. You can find them. But yeah, people, man, see, this is what happens when you're so comfortable with your malfeasance that no one's gonna question and look into it or any of that. And I think that's where we are. I think people are really comfortable with going, you know, how dare you question me? I'm XYZ. So you need a bigger fish to come in and go, yeah, we got questions for you. um, yeah. All right. Do we want to read any more of these? Because I think they're awesome. But Gaius Valerius Vanessa, soldier of the first Praetorian cohort in the century of Rufus, screwer of women. want to be that. Can I be that? Can I be true as armor screwer of women? Can I put that on a business card nowadays? I don't think I can. And let me tell you something. Sex is nice, but the way I did it, it was a lot of work. Can't be having sex all night. These are fucking marathon sessions. I'm exhausted and I'm thirsty. um, yeah, sex should be fun. A little in the morning, a little at night. Have a little all the time versus one giant session of 4 hours of stamina goddom. Um, that's a little insight into why I stopped dating. Sometimes I want to be a 3 minute man. Why I got to be at this all night? My back is tired. I'm not 20 anymore. I'm exhausted. And in an age of vibrators, quite frankly, this should be easier. Oh my God. Um, Guys, Valerius Venesis. Vibius Restitutus slept here alone and missed his darling Urbana. He slept here alone. So they're in a brothel. Gaius Valerius Venusus, soldier of the first Praetorian cohort in the century of Rufus. I gotta look up the century of Rufus. Screwer of women, right? Next one, Vico, same thing, the Emucria brothel. Vibius Restitutus slept here alone and missed his darling Urbana. Aw. So one guy's talking about, I'm banging bitches. And the other guy's in the brothel going, I miss my baby. I'm the second guy. I miss my baby guy. I mean, I might stare at the boobies. I'm sorry. I'm not a robot, but I'm not gonna touch anybody because I miss my baby. Streets of the theater. Hold it first. Before we go, I want to look up the century of Rufus. The century of Rufus. What is that? Rufus, common cognomen. Rufus is one of the most common ancient Roman cognomens. All right, so, oh, good lord, cognomia. What the hell is that? Okay, first definition would be nice. What is the significance? Significant. What is a Roman? Oh, good lord. Because of the limited nature of the Latin praenomen, the cognomen developed to distinguish the branches of family from one another. Oh, it's a family tree. Cognomen is essentially the family tree. A cognomen, Latin plural cognomenia, from con, together with, and g, nomen, name, with the third name of the citizen in ancient. Oh, all right. So your cognomen was your very last name. They had three names, right? It was Gaius Julius Caesar, right? So that last one was your cognomen. See, don't you love looking shit up, baby? Um, all right, we got rid of this. Uh, Century of Rufus is what we were looking up before we got. Leave me alone. Century of Rufus, meaning Curtius Rufus. Curtius Rufus being read over several hundred years ago. This system, the cognomen often became extension of nomen. Right. What is Rufus for sure? What is Rufus in history? Rufus, red century of red. So it was the red century was the first century of the Christian mention. Well, his brother. Oh, okay. So the century of Rufus means the first century of red, right? And I think that means the Christians. Do you want to look that up again? Did I just read that and take half of what it meant out of it? I think I did. We have to look this up again. Uh, can I go to history? No, I can't because it didn't keep it. All right. Oh boy. Here we go. Um, Good, sweet Jesus. Sweet, 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 sweet Jesus. Rufus. Rufus, History of Alexander the Great. Define Rufus. Rufus, Wikipedia. Rufus, meaning. Curtius Rufus. Okay, let's go. Curtius Rufus was a Roman professional magistrate of senatorial rank. Okay, so this is a guy. Rufus cognomen is one of the most common of the ancient Roman last first names. First century Roman. What is the Roman short for? Baby name. What does Rufus mean? What does Rufus mean? Define Rufus in different. I want the year of the Rufus. I don't want the name Rufus. Two persons mentioned in the New Testament. Either two persons mentioned in the New Testament. What is Rufus in Wikipedia? Rufus is a masculine given name, a surname, an ancient Roman cognomen, and a nickname from Latin. From Latinus Rufus, meaning red. So, huh. It's a masculine given name. It's a last name. It's obviously an ancient Roman name. And it's also a nickname for red. So we go back to this guy, Century of Red. So this might be loaded. It's red. Good Lord. All right. I'm spending too much time on this. Screw of women. I agree. Screwing women is a good thing if the women would like to be screwed. That's all I'm saying. I'm a fan of, but I don't want to speak for everyone. Um, I'm pretty sure there are ladies out there who like sex, right? I mean, the society keeps telling you nobody likes sex, and if you like sex, you're a deviant. Is that what that is? I was looking for this fucking thing. Oh, when I was cleaning the guitars, I tell you, I was cleaning the both guitar, wiped them down with Murphy. Where's my Murphy's oil? All right, I took everything out of here but this because I couldn't find it. Let me put this right in the middle of the floor. Yeah, look at this. Murphy's oil all on the back. Look at this thing. Look at that thing. Even though it rattles. Um, all right. I could caress Venus's ribs with a stick and whip her buttocks with a switch. She pierced my heart, and I would gladly break her head with a cudgel. He's saying I fell in love with this woman, and it's all Venus's fault. That's like saying, God damn it, I met this guy. I could kick Cupid in the balls for making me like him so much. Right? I want to marry that man. I want to have his babies. Damn you, Cupid. Not Cupid. Yeah, Cupid. Damn you, Cupid. Yeah, Rufus and Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Let me rock you. Let me rock you, Shaka Khan. I'm supposed to be making coffee. That's all I want. Let's put this back on since we're running here. I wonder how long we're going to go for. Because we have been streaming since 10. What time is it over there? My God, it's 1 o'clock. All right. Are we good? These are a lot. Let's mark. Well, we're right here by these trees, so let's see how many more there are. Oh, we haven't even got. Oh, there's not that many. We didn't get anywhere near the blowjob. Best job to get is a blowjob. So, oh, joke that. I'm sorry. I apologize to all the ladies in the chat. I don't mean to be a rude and an asshole. Um, Sexual. I know it's women are always inundated with weird statements. It can be a much, but we're just being silly and goofy. Yeah, Rufus and Shaka Khan. Never heard this sermon from Cardinal Dolan. Yeah, Cardinal Dolan, protectors of the Casper philosophy. What is this? Casher group began through a love of travel. And I think it might fall. Oh, okay, that's about him and his family. All right. Um, okay, hold it. Guys, screwed women, Septone and Mrs. Darling. All right, here we are. Streets of the theater. A copper pot went missing from my shop. Anyone who returns it to me will be given 65 bronze coins, says 65 sesteri. 20 more will be given for information leading to the capture of the thief. A copper pot. You know how much copper was worth back then? And you know that they will cut your hand off for stealing shit? A bench outside of the Marine Gate. If anyone sits here, let him read this first of all. If anyone wants a screw, he should look for Addis. She costs 4 sesteri. Addis will give you goodness for 4 sesteri. Ooh. Oh, can you imagine running around with all the good? I'll be right back. Let's put this in the freaking kitchen. Oh, cut the tea on one more time. Okay, the Olympics are on and I don't care. God, why is it? You know what? I closed the windows and I didn't cut the heat back on. All right. What? Oh my God. All right, it's 70 degrees in this here. Where's my hat? I thought I had a hat. Where's my hat? It's 70 degrees in here. I put the tea back on because I'm gonna have some tea. Coffee back on because I'm gonna have some coffee. Oh my God, we've been streaming for 3 hours. This is one of the longer streams in a minute. If anyone says it, let him read this first of all. If anyone wants to screw, he should look for Addis. She caused force hysteria. What a great name, Addis. Well, what else? What else could a woman do back then? Marry rich and be a smug diva of a house, right? Marry poor and do this on the side, right? In the basilica, I could caress Venus's ribs with a stick, right? Da, 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 da. He's crying about falling in love with somebody. And the same thing, and the next five are from the same one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. The next six are from the same place in the basilica, right? Philaria is a eunuch. Philarios is a eunuch. They're essentially saying Philarios has a small dick. If Epaphra, you are bald, sticks and stones. So one's got a small dick. Philaros has a small dick. Epaphra, he's just bald. Okay. In the basilica, chi. I hope your hemorrhoids rub together so that they hurt worse than when that they hurt worse than when they ever have before. They hurt worse than when they ever have before. Okay. Um, in the basilica, take hold of your servant girl whenever you want. It's your right. Take hold of your servant girl whenever you take hold means fuck your servant girl whenever you want. That's what you're paying her for. Clean the dishes and then come over here and work on these nuts. You know, he he's gonna get me too if he keeps this up. Um, take hold of your servant girl whenever you want. The basilica is balling out of control over there. Samius, Samius, to Cornelius, go hang yourself. Succinct and clear. 5,000 years later. Oh wait, hold it. When was Pompeii? 890 BC. So that's 200. That's 2,200 years ago. That's 2,222 years ago. When was Pompeii?
Archaeologists in Italy have uncovered an inscription they say may show that the history books have been wrong for centuries. Historians have long believed that Mount Vesuvius erupted on August 24, 79 AD, destroying the nearby Roman city of Pompeii.
Okay, they believe that, but what is it actually? Aren't you supposed to update me with new information? Ridiculous. All right, now we got to look up Pompeii because I'm that guy. Um, why am I looking it up on my phone? I can just look it up here. When did Pompeii go south? When was Mount Vesuvius? I know the coffee just went and I want to make it. August 24th, 79 AD. Really? 79 AD. Hold on, wait. What did they just say? When was Mount Vesuvius?
I found this on the web.
See, the last time they read it to me, now they're not. What happened to Pompeii?
Here's some news about Pompeii.
I forgot my phrasing. I did this before. I asked something, it told me all this stuff. I asked it again, and it was like, here, go read this. I was like, well, just repeat what you just said. Um, yeah, all right. When was Vesuvius? I think I asked.
Here's an answer from Wikipedia.org. Of the many eruptions of Mount Vesuvius, a major stratovolcano in southern Italy, the most famous is its eruption in 79 AD,
This is what
which
we
was
asked
one
for.
of the deadliest in European history. It is arguably one of the most famous volcanic eruptions in history.
All right. All right, maybe they have a bunch of answers because you won't want to go. You don't always want to go. Who's the president? He goes, Joe Biden is the president. He was a da 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 da. Joe Biden. First, so there's probably like 15 versions of that answer. Who's the president? Joe Biden is president, right? A long version. Joe Biden was elected. Blah 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 blah. Blah. One just I found this on the internet, right? That gives you enough variation where you just kind of you appreciate these AIs more than if they just had three responses. Uh, Please don't go anywhere. I'm going to get some coffee. I should be back in about, ooh, we got a clock running. 7 minutes, 7:40. Let's say a minute and a half, 90 seconds, if you don't mind. Da, 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 da. Woo-hoo. All right. While I'm not done, I had to put the heat on for just a little longer, which is gonna take a little. It is cold in this apartment. It's 70 degrees in here. How cold is it outside? Because I should not be cold. Man, I'm cold. As well, it's almost 60 degrees in our house, right? I feel like my dad. Don't you touch that thermostat. But it's 4 degrees in here. What is the weather outside?
It's currently snowing and 37 degrees.
First of all, it can't be snowing and 37 degrees because snow doesn't happen until it drops at least below 30. Is it fucking snowing outside? No, it is not. Okay, I'm going to be right back with this coffee. It is not snowing outside. Alrighty, I'm sorry for the delay. I know that that is not good stuff that we're doing, but man, do we have coffee. And that means we might be able to run for at least another hour. What? Pro Bowl's at 3. Okay, it's 1:15. We'll be out before then. Should I cut on the heat? Or should I just put on a hat? I'm about to open the window. I'm not gonna open the window. Uh so wait. Mount Vesuvius. I was looking up how long ago it was. It was saying 79 after death, right? So that's essentially 100 years after Jesus was born, right? So Jesus lived to be 33, and this is 79 years. That's 100 years, right? So here's a question about Christianity. Do we celebrate the year from the birth of Jesus or the death of Jesus? Because 2022 should mean Jesus was born, uh, because you're planning this. So technically, the new year wouldn't be till December. We all know Christmas really isn't Jesus' birthday. It was born in April. Blah, 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 right? We all know this. But just for the sake of argument, he's supposed to be that whole thing, the whole thing was supposed to have happened 2,022 years ago. That's his birth date or his death date? AD, after death, right? So are we counting after death to now? Are we counting? We're not counting BC, which is before Christ. Huh. All right. Interesting. Anyway, 79 AD. That means it would be 2,122 years ago. But if it's what I think they mean, it's 2,000 years ago. At noon. At noon. Good Lord. At noon. Ugh. I hope you get hemorrhoids. Samuel to Cornelius. Go hang yourself. The moment I have dinner with a barbarian in the Basilica, the man I'm having dinner with is a barbarian, a Visigoth, or just an asshole. That's someone wrote this, a Visigoth or just an asshole. The man I'm having dinner with is a barbarian. Are these graffiti or were they just signs left in places? Someone at whose table I do not dine, Lucius Estadius, is a barbarian to me. So I guess it was you were to be called a savage. All right, is a barbarian. The one who buggers a fire burns his penis. The one who buggers a fire burns his penis. Let's think about this for a second. If you have sex with a fire, you're gonna burn your penis. Yeah, I can't prove this, but I'm gonna go and say that checks out. Anybody got any disagreements in the chat? Are we still reading graffiti? Yeah, we're still reading this graffiti. We're going through each one of them. They're really good. I'm sorry, but they are really good. Uh, I regard a stranger anyone who doesn't invite me to dinner. Left at the door. We have piss in our beds. We have piss in our beds, host. I admit that we shouldn't have done it. If you ask why, there was no potty. We pissed in the bed because you didn't give us a bathroom. Okay. History of the century. History of the century. House of the Centenary. 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 In the latrine near the front door. Secundus defecated here 3 times on one wall. 3 times on one wall. House of Centenius in the atrium. My lusty son my lusty son, comma, with how many women have you had sexual relations? My lusty son. Triconium of a house. Everybody's name is either Secundus or Restitutus. Maybe they were the only 2 people going there for 100 years. Restitutus has deceived many girls. The same Restitutus who asked Restituta to show us her hairy privates. Herculaneum bar. 2 friends were here. While they had bad service in every way from a guy named Ephraidius. They threw him out and spent 105 and a half sesterces, most agreeably on whores. So the night turned out okay. So they went to a place, they got shitty service, they beat up the waiter, then they went to a brothel. Yeah. Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about average. Young Wilt Chamberlain. Upheld the chamberlain with Dexter, a slave of Caesar, ate here most agreeably, and had a screw at the same time. So Upheld the chamberlain with Dexter, a slave of Caesar, ate here most agreeably. Okay, so me and a slave of Caesar's a slave, I took him, and we came to this place, and we ate here, and it was good. It was agreeable. And we had a grew at the same time. Yeah. Does that mean somebody was under the table servicing you while you were eating? Or does that mean that everyone in film with the release found this is Pompeii at Vesuvius? Yeah. All right. Where did I have that? Thangamathoodle. Go hang yourself. Oh, walls, you have held up so much tedious graffiti that I'm amazed you have not already collapsed and ruined. You have held up so much tedious graffiti. This is very good. Oh, walls, like he's making a statement to like the cosmos, like well to the house. You know you've had so much graffiti that's trash put on your walls and probably haven't fallen over. Ifra is not good at ball games. And Lucius Estadius, I regard as strange as anyone who doesn't invite me to dinner. I skipped some of these. We have Pissed Our Bed, I read. Secundus Defecated Here, I've read. My Lusty Son, I read. Two friends were here. They had bad service. They beat up the waitress and went and got a prostitute. I got you. All right. Herculaneum Bar. Apelles, the Chamberlain with Dexter, we read that. Same time, I think it means they just had food in the place while they screwed ladies. It doesn't mean that they were eating and no. But I couldn't put it past them. Why am I so obsessed with that? That might not be good. Herculaneum bar next to drawing of phallus. Next to a drawing of a phallus handled with care. Ah, witty, clever. Get it? Phallus. Apelles must and his brother Dexter each pleasurably had sex with two girls twice. Had sex with two girls twice. Herculaneum on a water distributor tower. Anyone who wants to shit in this place is advised to move along. If you act contrary to this warning, you will have to pay a penalty. Children must pay. Number missing, right? Blank silver coins. Slaves will be beaten on their behinds. This was obviously a very busy place. So, a water distribution tower. Why would you piss or shit near the water distribution tower? This is why this was so stark. I don't care. We don't let children off. Children, everybody has to pay. If you're saying we're gonna beat the fuck out of you, don't piss or shit over here by the water. Go over there by the child school, by the church, by the what, right? Everybody's pooping all over the place. Anyone who wants to shit in this place, be advised to move along. This sounds like a postman from the cops. Herculaneum on the exterior wall of a house. Apollonarus, the doctor of the emperor Titus, shat well here. Wow, you got a famous person using your bathroom. It's like wow, the Queen of England came and shit in my bathroom. Put a giant sign up there, which doesn't happen because the Queen of England does not take shits. Have some respect. On April 19th, I made bread. Is this some sort of euphemism or something like that? On April 19th, I made bread. Okay. Read sources of these graffitis here, here, and here, and here, and here. Also here. There are many others. Reference to further reading. All right. Reading further. Honorable mentions. Bar of Prima. Oh my God. Someone turned this into a movie script. All right. So this is an honorable mention. This is apparently a couple of them. Severus. Severus. Successus. Severus. Oh, it's an interchange. Successus, a weaver, loves this innkeeper slave girl named Iris. She, however, does not love him. Still, he begs her to have pity on him. His rival wrote this. Goodbye. His rival wrote this. He loves the slave girl, but she's not getting him to play because the slave girl loves me, right? His rival wrote this, he writes. Secus writes, in response to Severus, Secus writes, envious one, why do you, how, oh, sorry, Envious one, why do you get in the way? Submit to a handsomer man, and who is being what? Envious one, why do you get in the way? Submit to a handsomer. Submit to a handsomer man? Handsomer. Is that a word? Submit to a handsome. The handsome is okay. I guess handsome is a word. Submit to a handsomer man, and who is being treated very wrongly and good looking. Submit to a handsomer man, and one who is being treated very well and good looking. Some words I missed on that. Okay, envious one, why don't you get out of the way? Submit to like you submit to me. Submit to a handsomer man. I'm a handsomer man. Just stop crying and submit that I am better and greater than you, and I got the girl. And stop writing this goofy shit on walls. That's essentially what it's saying. What he's saying. And then Severus comes back. I have spoken. I have written all there is to say. You love Iris, but she does not love you. Okay, that is it for that. Let's close this. The last time I did this, I ended the stream by accident. Present on screen. Stop presenting. They shouldn't call it presenting. Presenting sounds like I've got my ass up in the air waiting for injection. So that was it. Yeah, sex is fun. Sex is good. You should have a lot of sex with someone you like. You shouldn't have a lot of sex with a lot of people. You should have a lot of sex with a couple of people. Uh, Keep it a tight circle. Seriously. And when I say a couple of people, I don't mean all at once. I mean like, oh, I dated this person for a year. I dated that person for a year. I did versus I'm dating 9 people. Oh. Um, but it's just what I think. I just think the whole environment is a little too loose. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for me. Who's still in the chat? I'm just curious. Mm. All right. Yeah, all of those are still from Pompeii. That is it. We're having a musical Saturday, so we're gonna do that, and a football Sunday, so we're gonna do that. Thank you, Let It Be. It's always nice to have you in the chat. I hope you have an awesome Sunday. I hope everyone comes by. We'll likely be back, if not tomorrow, definitely Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday. Uh, Likely, but definitely Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Maybe I should do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Excuse me, and take a random day off Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. That gives me a 3 day bump. I'll work on it. Thank you, William. Please like and subscribe. Here are my details in this high. Uh, oh god, all the light bouncing off it looks really bad. Uh, this is me, YouTube. This is me, Twitch. Please like and subscribe, and come and chill with us because it's going to get real interesting this year. We're going to do a lot of interesting stuff and be interesting people and not stress about politics of it. We're going to make the world work, for God's sakes. And we hope to one day be able to go to, what's the version of the Parthenon? Go to Congress and write on the wall outside. Shu was here. He swung his balls at Mitch McConnell. So like in 1,000 years when people are sitting here doing the same thing with like whatever technology they have, they can be like, "Ooh, someone named Chuasama wrote a Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell can get these swinging balls." I guess that's a euphemism for we don't like you. Everything old is new again, my people. Everything old is new again. Did you solve my electronic issue? No, I have not. What I'm beginning to think is that junction box is causing the feedback issue. So what I'm going to do, I have this giant TV here. I'll show you. I have this giant TV over there as well, right? I need to move. I need to sort of just run I think a longer wire or something. I'll figure it out. But I wanted it to be done today because I wanted to start working on my album called Horrible Songs to Complain About, which I know everyone would love. Uh, One album, 1,500 songs, no song longer than 8 seconds. Please hit my SoundCloud and buy the whole album for $99.95. All right, Earl Shive Music. Did not solve it, but I will solve it. I am gonna go and play some guitar. And I will see you in the next one, boys and girls. Thanks for coming through. Um, it's about Saturday, 1:30. So your day isn't almost over, but yeah, go out and get some of this day, man. It's pretty good. Uh, Life's an oyster, right? So go and shuck it. I'll see you in the next one. The next one's tomorrow. Ugh. I gotta get that. This is what I'm likely gonna do. What time is the game? What time is it? I'm gonna take this thing to the music store, see if they can figure out what that hum is. I don't want to spend $80 for them to restring it because that's what fucking tell me it's gonna be. A restring issue. I may let it wait till Monday. Really, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. See if I can search the internet and find a solution. I like to, at this point in my life, I like to solve things myself. Is you know, uh, and usually that is always a fix is either found with my homie who knows it, one of my homies, or the internet, or one of you guys who may have a fix for me. All right, so I guess that's it. I am going to figure out a meal because it is 1:30 in the afternoon. Exactly 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm gonna make a meal. I'm probably not gonna finish that coffee, and I'm gonna watch the game. Take care of yourself. When you get the opportunity, always have one of these on you. Seriously, as an ex graffiti artist, I always have one of these on me. Write some snide comment someplace. Uh, And don't take the crap from the world, man. The world wants you to take the crap. It is up to you to go, not taking any crap from you. And at the same time, not be so ridiculous as to wreck your own life by being anti them, right? You wanna carve out some space for you in this place where they don't want you to have space. Uh, and you have to do that. People aren't gonna You're gonna vote for people and they won't do it for you. It's been proven. So some way you have to get your 40 acres and a meal. And my 40 acres and a meal is music and a podcast. And that's what I'm doing. I look around, other people are doing all sorts of other things, right? Starting businesses, uh, getting fit. Some people get married. Some people NFT in it, trying to figure out what that's about. Short-term goals, long-term goals. As long as they're goals, I think. And if you get used to making goals, you'll get better at it, and then you'll change some stuff that's not worth it. I saw something twice as big as a freaking float in front of the camera, and I'm beginning to wonder if I have a tiny spider somewhere here swinging. I think I do. All right, boys and girls, this is officially it for me. I will see you in the next Sunday session, 10 a.m. next Sunday. But every day we have a podcast. We generally stream every day podcast, 6:30, 7, but it's more 6:30 now. Come through, say hi, show love, like and subscribe, uh, and give to the Hoyts. I don't even know what that means. All right, take care of yourself. Peace. Oh, the game is today. Super Bowl tomorrow. I put everything I own on the Bengals because William Conway told me to. So I'm sure it's going to work out. It's going to be awesome. Uh, I'll see you in the next one. And tomorrow's the Super Bowl, so I'm definitely going to talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl. Next week's the Super Bowl. I will definitely talk to you next week. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.